outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Discussing that heat in the street. Hey, we got just what you need on vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got
All
what you need.
alone.
Vitamin G. Ay. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Tryna run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's about smoke, then we talk all of that. From an ounce to a pound. Check it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right out the sea. How could it be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see this start crumbling now. Mad struck, start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for cloud. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock blitz, know they love how I freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the gang, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Link up with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them bills on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. To reload the clip and record the clip is go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tuned into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dante Crisis back with your weekly dose of vitamin G. Unfortunately, starting with some somber news real quick off the bat. Rest in peace to the original voice actor of Crash Bandicoot, Brendan O'Brien. Unfortunately, has passed away. He voiced not only Crash but also voiced Dr. Neo Cortex has unfortunately passed away today at the age of 60. So rest in peace, Brendan. Sad news, sad news. All right, well, you know what? In honor of Brendan, I believe we should be known as the Crash Bandicoots of the gaming industry. So first of all, let's go to the original Crash Bandicoots. Mr. Zero, how are you today, my man?
I am absolutely wonderful, guys. It's good to be back here. Not a lot of gaming this week. Tears of the Kingdom doesn't come in for me until Thursday. And then, of course, this past weekend's been Mother's Day, so been spending time with all the moms. So happy Mother's Day to those who have moms or want to be moms who have adopted the role of mom. Big ups to you. So really not much. Just doing Apex. The latest season just dropped. So just working my way through, weighing my options on whether or not I'm going to buy the Battle Pass or not.
All right, cool. All right, next, the Crash 2 Cortex Strikes Back of the gaming community, Mr. Nappy Senshi. How are you today, my guy?
How's it going, everyone? Nappy Senshi here. This weekend, I have not done too much gaming. I had went to an Demon Slayer themed bar event where everybody was cosplaying characters from Demon Slayer and drinking, having fun. And of course, Mother's Day, I had to spend on the phone a lot with my mom and spend time with my family for Mother's Day. So yeah, I haven't really got too much gaming in this week, unfortunately, or last week. But hopefully I'll be able to catch up. And I got a lot of controller reviews to catch up on. I kind of fell behind schedule, but I had a lot of fun stepping outside, meeting new people. And just interacting with fellow weeboo anime people, otakus like myself. So, yeah.
All right. Next, the Crash Bandicoot Warped of the gaming community, Mr. Farah Bazaar. What have you been up to, my guy?
Not much. Playing good fair amount lately. Hi-Fi Rush. Finished that up. Really fun game. If you have access to it, I encourage you to play it. Had some really unique boss battles, and makes the game pretty fun.
Pharaoh, where can we get access to it?
Anywhere on PC, I believe, like Steam and Epic Game. Well, I don't think it's on Epic Game Store. Probably
You could just say
Microsoft
Game
Store,
Pass.
Game Pass, Microsoft Store, or you can just get an Xbox, play it there. But it's a really fun game. I recommend you guys play it. And Yakuza Ishin, I'm playing that. And yeah, it's Madden.
All right,
Yeah,
cool,
the three
cool.
games.
And next to the Crash Bandicoot, the Wrath of Cortex of the gaming community. Omar, what have you been up to?
What's up, man? So bad news. I blew out my PlayStation 5 controller. I had no idea that you can do that, but yeah, I'm never charging my new controller if I buy one with a normal adapter. 'Cause,
Wait,
uh,
so how did it blew out? Like, what were you using to charge it before? I have so many questions I want to know. Sorry for
yeah,
cutting
because
off.
you're the controller guy. Ati told me that if you don't charge it on PlayStation cable or rather via the PlayStation, it keeps charging up and it kills your battery life, right? So
Right.
that's what it did, and now it barely survived 1 hour of playtime, if even less. So it's dead.
Hmm.
It's dead. I'm just gonna
Well,
survive like that. Yeah.
what I would say is it's actually changing out the batteries of these DualSense controllers is actually really easy to do. So all you have to do is just take off this portion right here with the clip, and there's a screw here, pop these things, pop the L1 R1 off, 2 screws here, and you can pry off the back, and the battery's like right there. It's not a lot of work as people make it seem. I would, if you don't want to buy a whole nother controller, I would advise you just buy another battery. Replace it is actually very easy.
I will look it up then. I have a handy father who can do stuff like that, so maybe he's gonna do it for me, or I will look it up, do it myself. Thank you for the information.
Of course, anytime, unless you want to spend like $70.
So, yeah, so there is that, and then there is Jedi Survivor, which again, it's an amazing game that I'm having lots of fun with playing it. I'm close to the end, I think, but I have the feeling that something gonna happen where I'm like, it's gonna give it that extra oomph. But right now, I'm doing collectibles, and I just beat one of the hardest challenge, which is you need to fight 2 Rancor at the same time. Which is, if you play the game, it's a bitch. Cause I thought Demons, the Souls franchise have horrible hitboxes. Yo, the Rancor are like, hold my beer, cause they can grab you. But that's about it.
That's the worst part. People mistaken Dark Souls for having bad hitboxes just because of Dark Souls 2. And Dark Souls 2 has the worst hitboxes in the whole world.
No, absolutely not.
I'm not getting into this. We're not getting into this right now. I just get my piece. We're not getting into this. I'm cutting off your ability to defend. Unfortunately, Kofi and Jubei are not here. If one of you guys could drop them a line so I can, so we can try and get them in, because I think Kofi is going to be here. Jubei is probably in the car. But yes, and then to me, the Crash Bandicoot Twinsanity of the group, because y'all fucking drive me insane. I've been playing a lot of games recently. Still doing my playthrough of Saints Row 4. When my friend Blitz's left shoe. The game is really fun, and I still think it's and I consider it probably the third best in the game in this best game in the series. Close second, actually. First is always going to be Saints Row 2. Saints Row 3's the fucking worst. Oh, actually, no. Saints Row 4 isn't the Saints Row 3. The third isn't the worst because the new one exists. But like the one of the biggest issues we're facing is just like that game having like just constant disconnections. Like that game's multiplayer and co-op is just a fucking hot mess. Like absolute garbage. Other than that, I played and finished Red Faction. That was a fun experience. Aside from the later levels introducing enemies with rail guns that basically say, "Hey, that's some nice armor and nice health you have there. Oh, you at 100%. Yeah, see that ain't gonna matter. That ain't gonna matter. We just gonna go right through you. Like we just gonna drive right through you because fuck your armor and fuck your health." Been playing some Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2 as well. I am experiencing that same burnout I felt with Cold War because I got back in with Modern Warfare, did the battle passes when I got there, went into Black Ops Cold War, and the battle passes just dragged me the hell down. It wasn't until like near the end of the game when I finally got back into it I actually cared. But now Modern Warfare 2, we're only in season fucking 2, and I ain't even nowhere near done. And I've got like 30 days left. Like these battle passes are driving me fucking insane, and it's added even worse to the fact that now Call of Duty is added pay to win content in their games.
Yep. I don't even do the battle pass. I just play for fun. It's my brain dead shooter.
No. Like no, what I mean is pay to win. Like they've completely fucked DMZ. It's still in beta and they screwed it because now they're selling you packs that have skins and multipliers that give you give you stuff inside of DMZ. Now the worst part is I got into a debate with my friend Asher. And like he said, you can't blame them for something that they might do. And I'm like, no, I know this shit's gonna show up in the battle pass. I know they're gonna add DMZ stuff, DMZ pay to win stuff into the battle pass next season. Like there's no doubt in my goddamn mind. It's infuriating. Played some Master Chief Collection today. Really enjoyed playing Halo. Still mad that when I install that game, it doesn't actually install the game. It just installs Halo Reach. So special fucking thank you to 343, you hacks. What else have I been playing? Played Eternal Darkness last week, which I'm going to be playing tomorrow or today. That's going to be fun. Finished Mass Effect Andromeda on Insane Mode, and my Patreons are now voting on what game I play next. And
the one I gifted you?
Pardon?
The one I gifted you? I sent you a key last week, remember?
Oh no, that's gonna be a Let's Play.
Oh, sweet.
I'm gonna Let's Play that. I'm gonna try and get some people together and do a Let's Play of that.
Right. Cool.
And I'm in the final section of Persona 4 Golden. So that's going to be really interesting. And what's also really interesting is who just showed up. Hello, Kofi. How are you?
I am well. How are you, Dante?
I'm mad because I literally gave everybody an hour's heads up on when we were starting.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And you are 20 minutes late.
I'd like that you guys started promptly at the start time. I won't say the time because they're all different time zones, but thank you. And
yes, I tried. See, I actually was able to get everything together, and guess what? Because Jubei and everybody was sending me the topics, I was actually able, in DMs, I knew what everybody wanted to talk about, and I was able to distill it like a fine whiskey into topics that would actually be interesting to talk about. God damn, it's almost like that shit works. Thank you for listening to me. I appreciate it.
Oh, from now on, we're gonna send you early. I had no idea that you were waiting for us. I always thought that you.
No. It isn't a case of I'm waiting for you guys. It's a case of you going into our Twitter thread to see what you guys want to talk about is like reading the script to fucking Gone with the Wind.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it
The
just
Da Vinci
fucking
Code,
goes
yeah,
on and
yeah.
on and on, and it's like my head's gonna fucking explode, especially when I gotta look at a white screen and I'm looking at that text. It's like my eyes are literally like this, like I'm staring at the middle of my nose.
So why don't you use the black screen? Because a lot of people do.
I do.
It's-
I do,
okay.
but sometimes it just it fucks out. All right, but
Yeah, from now
Kofi, you need to
on-
give you your intro. So you
Yes.
are in. So you didn't know that unfortunately, the original voice actor for Crash Bandicoot has passed away. So in honor of him, we're naming ourselves after Crash Bandicoot games, and you get to be the Clash of the Titans of the video of the gaming community. So Mr. Crash of the Titans, what have you been up to?
Not too much, guys. I did want to do a quick sidebar for my two sons who just finished Shredder's Revenge, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game from last year, and they
Great
are
game.
currently on a obsession with it. We're gonna, my oldest, his birthday party is the end of this month, or his birthday's the end of this month, and he just can't stop talking about Leonardo. He's going through all the phases, like what's the TV show? I want to hear the theme song. Let's get, Shredder's Revenge up. But yeah, he actually finished the entire game with my youngest, and it's just it's great seeing, because that was one of the first games I had for the original Nintendo console. Of course, that game was much more brutal and arcade-like. But seeing them just get on the DualShock and enjoy that has been great. The two games I've been playing, one indie, one RPG, of course, it is Star Ocean, The Divine Force. I'm pretty far in it now. I have everybody except for the secret character when I started with Raymond. And I'm having a great
nice.
time. I am always, and I also want to get your take on this, Nappy. I'm always a fan of building up and getting familiar with side characters. So I use Marielle and Markia primarily, and both of them are
Right.
just beastly. I love switching between them mid battle. The spell casting, sometimes it takes a little bit long to get a spell off, but
You don't have
the gun skills.
you don't have the shortcut. There's a shortcut
So I
ability
have-
to make the spells come by faster, and there's one spell that can nuke a whole map.
I don't even know if I have that skill yet. Right now my average level I think is like mid 50s. No, late 50s. I have to look. What was I going to say? I do have some shortcuts, but like they're kind of strict on the rules. Like one is cuts your spell time in half if you're full health. But in the midst of things, sometimes you're nicked, right? You might get one hit on you, and then it doesn't amount. And there is another one. I do have another pawn that reduces my spell casting, but I usually keep that one on my Midas. What is it? Midas, right?
You talking about the guy with the cane magic?
Yes. Yeah, Midas,
Yes,
right? His name is
yeah.
Midas. I think.
Yeah, it's like Midas or Mida, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's cool too. But yeah, just having a really good time with it.
Midas? So you say Midas, like, is it spelled Midas?
It is
Midas.
but
It's
in-
Midas.
I think Midas is correct. In the Japanese version, they call him Midas because it's like using the Japanese phonetic.
It's using the phonetics, but like if you were to ask a Japanese person to say it like with a straight okay, so if you were to translate that into a straight phonetical for us, it would be Midas.
Right. I agree. And this, anyway, no, you're right, Dante. At least that's what you heard, right, Nappy? Because I haven't heard it in English yet.
I haven't played the game in like months. I beat it way back, not way back, but like 2 or 3 months ago. I beat that game.
Yeah, I feel
For
you.
both stories.
Right, and you did both stories. I probably would just do Raymond and move on, just because my backlog is so huge. But yeah, I just love it. It's about space. It's about trying to respect the ongoings of individual planets and them not reaching a technological point where they could cure cancer.
Yeah.
As in one example.
Oh,
I love that type
you
of
got that
concept.
a point. You love that. I love that fact too.
I love that so much. Honestly, I have not. There are several Star Wars games I have not completed. Like 5, I haven't completed. And is Reggie here? Reggie is going to beat me up if he's here. I have not completed 2, though it's
Don't talk.
installed, and I promise I'll play it.
Stop talking. Dante, cut him off. Cut him off. He doesn't get to talk anymore. He's not beating Star Wars 2.
Wow. But yeah, that whole story is about like, stop advancing stuff too quickly. You'll fuck up everyone.
And I
Let
love
stuff
that because
advance normally.
yes, and Star Ocean games have kind of touched on that. Like Till the End of Time never really got there. And I can't speak for 2, but 2 will be the next Star Ocean I play and finish. So I love that this one is touching on those subjects. It's what I want out of space-themed RPGs/JRPGs. I'm really, really happy. Only other game I've been playing because it's going on too long is Oli Oli World, which is like the skateboarding indie game that is, I think it was on PlayStation Plus at no additional
the
cost.
first one is, the second one isn't.
Yeah, I think I have
30
the
seconds.
full. Yeah, sorry. I think I have the full version, and I'm just doing like one continent or one like area every other night, and I'm having a great time. Doing kick trips, and I love that you can like see all of your friends' characters and their replays and their best times. So I have a Facebook group where we're all kind of competing right now. So yeah, those 2 are my main focus, and then of course I was playing Shredder's Revenge with my sons.
All right, cool. Remember to show your sons only the good Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles stuff, like the original,
Which one's your
TV
favorite,
show.
Dante?
Oh, my as far as like media wise, I actually liked the TMNT animated movie that came out in 2008. I want to say I did enjoy that original TMNT
like
80s cartoon. Stellar.
What about 03? What do you think about 03?
03 is good. You know what? There's never been like an absolute terrible Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles TV show. Same was even Evil Turtles Through Time isn't actually bad. It's actually pretty good.
Okay.
Just don't show them the comic. For the love of God, don't show them the comic because that the I can't remember which specific comic it was.
You mean Ronin?
Ultra fucking violent.
Yeah, the last
Yeah.
Ronin. I wanted to
The
say
Ronin,
show
right?
them that.
Because like they don't, I believe they kill off like one of the turtles. Or so. I can't remember which turtle it was, but they killed off one of them for a
think
period
I
of
Ronin
think
time.
Three
they
turtles
killed
died, right?
everyone except one. I know is.
It's fucking brutal.
It's brutal.
I think Mikey's the only one that
Yeah, I
lived.
think Michelangelo. Yeah.
Oh, the one that survived, and he's the sole turtle
I
with
know.
all the weapons.
Yep.
Yeah. He is the
All right,
one.
well, he spoke up, so ladies and gentlemen, Jube has finally joined us. So, Jube, you are the Crash Mind Over Mutant of the gaming community. Please give us your intro. What have you been up to?
Heyo, everybody. Sorry for my my lateness. Traffic was a bitch. Traffic was a bitch. I finished Jedi Fallen Order over the weekend, so I can move on to Survivor now. What else? I got to play a lot of the Diablo beta, hit that level 20 so I can get my mount when the game comes out. Lots of fun. What else? Played a little Redfall last week, and I think that about covers everything as far as the gaming sphere. I can't wait to talk a little shit once we get into some topics. But
Yes. Well,
Oh,
guess
yeah.
what?
Yes.
Guess what? I'm going. You may dub me the dictator. I am Kim Jong Crisis today. I'm going to keep you motherfuckers in line today because
You
we
better.
are not going to go as in depth as you think we are on one of those specific
No.
topics. That can go
No.
another day.
not at all. I don't. I just want to get some stuff off my chest.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
yes, and everybody will have their time to get their shit off the chest. But right now, seeing as you give us our intro, we're going to move on to the Crash 4.
Last part of my intro. Shout out to Martha Stewart for that Sports Illustrated cover. That's fire.
Excuse me.
What?
Huh?
Her at 81.
I'm looking this up. I'm looking
Is
this up.
actually
No
is
way.
actually a lot better than I fucking thought.
Her at
This dude is
81.
only.
If anything, if anyone,
We need
I
the
would
no
thought you
horny
would say like
hammer.
Janelle Monáe.
Hey,
Yeah,
and shout out
no
Janelle
horny hammer.
shout out Janelle Monáe's titties. yo.
He was shouting her out on Twitter. I saw.
Oh my god.
Hold on, I gotta see if I can find a picture of this because I'm
Really? No?
morbidly curious. I'm a morbidly curious individual. Okay.
I mean, I'm trying
I'm
curious
just saying.
too. I was about to Google this.
She's-
too.
She's 81,
No?
bro. It's looking alright.
Damn.
She's looking good for 81.
I'm telling you. I'm like, okay.
Look,
I know.
okay, she's rich, so she got the best diet, the best plastic surgeons. But I mean, hey,
She got the
that jail diet.
Jail.
You know what? You know what? I'm gonna side on Jubei with this one. I'm gonna side with Jubei on this one. This is
Big ups to you, Martha Stewart.
right, yeah. One moment. I need to actually I keep forgetting I actually need to fix this shit each time we stream. Yeah, no, like I'm gonna give my respect and Martha's do it. Like, goddamn, you actually taking care of yourself at 81 years old.
No.
All right, everybody got their fill of this. Is everybody going to be sleeping comfortably tonight? You weirdos. Okay, good. Right.
Put the jargons away from Martha Stewart, okay, please.
All right, but I'd say right now we should move on to the Crash 4. It's about time for the open discussion, so where we can talk about just general shit we want to talk about.
Yeah.
I again have been on a fucking anime binge. I don't get it, especially considering like we're in this oversaturation of fucking isekai in anime. It's fucking ridiculous, but a couple of them have been slipping through the cracks and have actually been really good. Speaking of slipping through the cracks, Kofi, did you finally fucking download what I sent you?
No, wait, send me again because I was locked out when I went to the link.
I sent you a second link again. That exact reason is why I tell you guys to send me shit in DMs, because again, it just gets buried. It just gets buried so hard.
You're right. Yeah, I'm going back now. Okay.
So yeah, I was watching Skeleton Knight from Another World. That is it starts off as it's almost like it ends up it's an isekai, but it kind of forgets like after the first episode that it is, and just becomes like a normal fantasy until the very end of it. So but like it's kind of incidental that it's an isekai, because overall the humor in that anime is fucking stellar. It's really good, and I'd recommend that. There's a couple of others. Give me a minute. I'm just gonna go quickly into my my folder so I can look at everything that I have been watching. Another one is Shirami. No, what's that called? My glasses are failing me.
For anybody else, or is that just me?
What?
Wait, what?
Might be me.
It's you. It's called Tsukimichi, Moonlit Fantasy. That's really good as well. Rewatching Reincarnated as a Slime.
Nice.
That's a really good anime, but my biggest problem with that anime is it seems like season 1 goes at a breakneck speed. It kind of feels like season 1 kind of goes at a breakneck speed. But I will not lie. Shisu's death will always hit hard, because like that one's just like it hurts. It hurts. Alright, who the fuck did that? Who the fuck did that?
Somebody pay attention to Discord's new features.
Yeah.
Discord now comes with a soundboard.
Fucking
about the slime one.
Wait, no, who's doing that? So I can mute you or kick you out of this call. I'm assuming that's you, Nappy, right? Because you're the only one laughing about it. This is your one warning, Matt. This is your one goddamn warning.
Dante,
oh my god.
That's it. Goodbye. Goodbye.
No,
Goodbye.
it wasn't him. It wasn't him. It was Zero.
Dante, about the slime.
That was not me.
Dante, about the slime. Would you agree that what happened in season either 2 or 3, I forgot which one.
There's only 2 seasons.
3? Oh, season 2 then. After the attack, it almost felt like they should have kept him dead.
No.
It would have
No.
Why not?
Okay, so I actually have a reason why. Because that... In the end, like, even though he's a slime, throughout all of season 1 and a lot of season and for most of season 2, Rimuru is trying to keep his humanity. Like especially
Yeah.
like it's kind of held through with the whole like don't hurt humans. Like because he is a nice guy. But like that right there is the breaking point for him, where he basically gives up any humanity he was trying to hold on to, or the illusion of humanity that he had, and went full fucking psycho. Like that to me, resurrected as a slime, in my opinion, does the good guy becoming almost a bad guy, they do it better than Overlord, because at least with that, Rimuru's anger was only ever focused on the army that attacked him, and he's still friends with the Dwarven army. Like he's still cool with them. Like he doesn't hate everybody, and his goal never changed. He wants to create a place where everybody can live. But it's at that point that he realized he no longer held on to his humanity and basically went full psycho and wiped out everybody at the army. So no,
around what 10,000 or 50,000?
50,000. 50,000
Yeah.
like plus died. So he could become a demon lord. So no, I'm perfectly fine with them bringing them back, because the payoff was because they were just incidental in getting him to that point. And then when he got to that point, like them being dead or alive is inconsequential at this point. Like they could have remained dead and it really wouldn't have changed anything. But they brought them back because there still needs to be some of that comic relief. Because again, most of the people that did die were the fucking comic relief.
Yes, but again, it almost like feels like if they kept him dead, it would have given him an extra motivation to change.
Maybe, but he already has that motivation to change. But the other thing you need to remember as well, or the other thing you kind of need to take into consideration is the whole reason they did set it up for them to come back was basically big dick energy. It all came down to big dick energy. Like we needed to see, like we've heard about demon lords, we've heard about how powerful they are, but we've never really seen it. And to be able to bring people back from the dead, basically, because it wasn't just that he brought them back from the dead, because they had to go through a lot of things to do that. Like they had to keep the barriers up so that the souls of the people who died remained in the city. Like there was a lot of complications to it, because if those barriers were up, he wasn't going to be able to do it. So it isn't just a case of like, oh, you're dead, you're alive. No, if the barrier hadn't been up, the souls would have disappeared, and he wouldn't have been able to bring them back. But because
I got you on that then.
So there's a lot of intricate details to why it succeeded, and if one of them fell through, it wouldn't.
He did outsmart the enter thing. I got you on that end.
But again, it also comes down to this was all set up to be a big dick energy moment, like showing, oh, this is why people fear demon lords. This is how powerful demon lords are. They can, if under the right circumstances, they can bring people back from the fucking dead. And also, side note, it technically wasn't Rimuru who brought them back. It was actually Gabriel.
Yeah.
It was I want to say the high spirit in his head or something. I can't remember what it's actually called. It was
AI. Let's call it AI.
And it was the AI in his head, Gabriel, that basically took over his body while he was becoming a demon lord that brought everybody back. So
yeah, are you aware just how broken he is?
Oh, I am very fucking fully aware of how broken he is. But
he might be the strongest character in ever.
I don't want to.
He might not. He might. He actually could be stronger than Goku.
Well, yeah, he can absorb and he can Majin Buu everybody and just take their powers.
He can literally go to different anime and mangas and absorb the powers. Like he is broken.
Either way, I like it because there is still heart to that show. Unlike as I said, Overlord, which I'm just I was a fan of season 1.
I don't know what happened with Overlord season 3 for you, but season 2 ending was phenomenal. How he tricked that person and made it seem like he is weak against certain magic when in fact
no. Season 1 and 2 I'm perfectly fine with. Season 3 is where it completely went off a cliff, because the thing is Ainz Ainz was always about the preservation of the tomb. Like he was all about the preservation, keeping his people safe, shit like that. Like that's perfectly fine. But he also had like this sense of humanity to him. Like unlike Rimuru, who was unnecessarily holding on to his humanity. Ainz was holding onto his humanity and showed mercy in a lot of different ways, and even more so in the light novel, because there's certain things that happen in the light novel that don't actually happen in the manga or the anime, which show that even though he is this all-powerful dark being, he's still capable of compassion. So it keeps him on that tipping point of like the anti-hero instead of tipping him right into villain or anti-villain. Do you know what I mean? The problem is, a lot of the things he did in season 3 were unnecessarily cruel. Like, it was basically the writers just saying, oh no, he's all powerful and he is evil. Like, let's not forget that. It's like, we kind of already got that with some of the shit that he has done. But season 3 kind of went, like, off kilter with that. But then in season 4, he's like, oh no, I want to create a utopia. And it's like, okay, rewind a bit. Let's go back to that battle. You literally fucking slaughtered everybody. You have slaughtered multiple adventurers. You tricked a bunch of adventurers into your fucking tomb just to slaughter them. To try and get shit, just to get the name of the tomb out there and shit like that. And it's like, okay, now you want to create a utopia? Okay, your motivation is now making no fucking sense at this point, because you now want to create a utopia that everybody can live in. Okay, Ainz, I get it. His character is just fucking all over the place in season 3 and 4. Oh, fuck you and your spoilers. When did season 3 came out like last year? Season 4 came out last year.
I have yet to. The last thing I watched is the fight where he tricked his enemy, and I am behind. I think either 1 season or 2.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We're approaching the 1 year threshold of season 4 coming out, so you can suck my dick on spoilers. Sorry, it's been dominated by Weeb Talk. Is anybody got anything else they want to add into open discussion?
Yeah, I want to ask Kofi about Star Ocean.
Okay, you got 5 minutes then. Go on.
Yeah, I played the demo. I wasn't that it's not like impressed. It's like it felt cumbersome needing to use that jetpack every single time you need to activate it. It's like, is there a way that it becomes fully automatic where it can always be on?
You mean like just fly?
Yeah, like not per se fly, but like not always need to activate it. Like it's always on.
To be honest, the different dungeons and tight areas that you go into, sometimes using Duma is not an advantage. But Duma has skills that allow you to sneak up on enemies. So, for example, let's say you just want to like walk up on foot and punch a bad guy in the back of the head. That's very easy to do, and there's an advantage to that because, let's say you want to, like, use one character to distract and then switch to another character and cast a spell. That might be an advantage as opposed to just flying in and then the rest of your characters kind of like get too close. Or like, yeah, I mean, there's plenty of times like, so there's like 3 ranges of attacks in the game. Like, you know, you have your long range spells and shooting, but then like there's like this interesting mid range where if you get too close or too far, your mid range will whiff or, you know, miss. And like getting that approach correct does not work well with Duma. Like Duma will, you know, will send you like flying in, and the mid-range skills are already too close. You can't use them because you're so close on top of your enemy. So
okay, gotcha.
Having
the other question is, how are the characters, especially the main character, is he bland?
yeah, I want to bring this up really quick. Obviously, I can't speak much for Star Wars 2, but Raymond is one of the most mature Star Ocean characters in the entire series. Definitely more mature than 3.
Yeah,
definitely more mature than
he is very mature.
Yeah, more mature than 3, 4, 5, and 1. Because like the way he tackles like really complex situations, it's like wow. Like I wish Edge was like this. Edge from 4, you know, something like this. So
yeah. Oh yeah, Edge was very Amy,
Yes.
you would say?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that then, cause yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have like these weird like tropey moment. At least in the 50 hours I've played, he doesn't have these weird tropey moments where he's like, "Oh, what should I do?" Like he never has done that.
So he's
Nah, he gets straight to the point. He's ready to
Yeah,
kick
if he's
ass.
mad about
Okay,
something,
I
he's
like
right to
that.
be mad about it. So, yeah.
All right. Has
Gotcha.
anybody got anything else?
Quick question for everyone. So I saw Wild Heart on sale for like $50. Yes or no?
For $40?
PC, got to check those performance issues.
You said 40? Okay.
I'm actually about to pull it up right now.
He said 50. I thought you said 50.
It's actually $48.99, so $49.
No, 50.
Nope.
It's $50.
Nope.
Which game?
Wild Hearts.
Wild Hearts.
Don't.
Yeah, I hear
even
that.
if the performance stuff has
apparently-
increased, even if it has improved, I'd still wait till it's like $35 minimum,
Yeah.
like max.
Yeah, about that, there is Forspoken on sale for $30, but it's basically it's for $50, but you get the Ultimate Fuck Digi edition, which include artwork and other jabs, but it also include the DLC. And
What?
if you've seen the DLC, the DLC looking sick. So that's something I'm gonna pull the trigger on.
Oh, nah.
And if
Nope.
anyone
I'm not buying that
says
game until it's
different-
$20.
Gentlemen,
I'm not buying that game until it's
I
20
mean, it's literally 30.
I
but
won't.
you're
Listen,
getting the
I won't
DLC
even
with
buy.
it.
I won't even buy if it was free on fucking torrent.
When it gets that PlayStation Hits logo, checks notes, it will not, because it has not and will not ever sell enough.
Jube,
I'll cop
stop
that.
instigating an argument here.
Jesus, man.
Do not rise to it, Omar.
It should come on the PlayStation with their service.
It should be on premium. Yeah, it should be on
Yeah, it
premium
should be
at
on
some
premium
point.
for
So I'll
sure.
just hold out. I'll hold out.
But yeah, as far as Wild Hearts, I turn around and say, look at the look into the performance, and then wait until it's like $35 or some shit. Like that's me personally.
Yeah,
I was just curious.
I only just recently bought Final Fantasy VII Integrate on PC because I think it was like £35 or something. It was like 70% off or some ridiculous amount, and I looked into it and realized, oh no, apparently the performance is now better. So I that's when I pulled the trigger on that. But now you should always do your research and know
They finally fixed the game. You got it on Epic or Steam?
Steam. Fuck am I buying anything on fucking Epic? I get the only thing I got Epic for is free stuff.
It was exclusive to Epic for a while. So.
Yes,
Oh.
and Death Stranding was exclusive to PlayStation, and I was very fucking patient with that one. Don't you think I'd be patient with this? I ain't
So with
nappy.
that,
I ain't nappy.
So with that-
I'm patient.
hold, pause. Don't do that. I'm patient. So with that being said, then I'm going to get Evil West for $30.
Oh, I don't recommend Evil
No.
West because that
I would
game
not
is.
recommend that
No.
either.
Oof, that
For
game
$30
is.
for $30,
No,
even with a
no,
friend.
Not even 30,
that's
Bro.
20.
This is 50.
$9.99. $9.99, bro.
This is free. This is free, and even then you want your time back. That's how bad this game is. I have
I
heard.
wouldn't say it's that bad, but like,
Like
it's
Jesus,
it's
like
at least
did all you
max
guys play this
$20.
game?
It's boring. That's its
It-
worst sin. It's just
Yeah,
not
it-
like the closest I can think of. It's very similar to God of War and like how you fight, but without any of the charm.
Yeah,
Like,
so it starts
you know
off
what?
nice.
You want to know best comparison I can think of when it comes to Evil West? The Order 1886. Really,
Oh.
like there is a better game that is buried in this, but it's just buried under a fucking avalanche of mediocrity.
I never played Order, but
Order-
although
Order
Make
in
the
86
better
was-
Evil West
Oh my god.
at
With-
some point.
with Evil West, it starts off real good, I heard, but then the game becomes boring because the skills are boring and you're doing the same thing over and over again.
Jube's
There
gonna
is no-
disagree. Jube's gonna disagree with me on this, but if you ain't got Days Gone, I'd recommend getting that. It's like fucking
I
$15.
love Days Gone.
It's like $15 on
Especially
Steam
now
right
with
now.
what it does.
Use that
Uh,
money
Days
to
Gone
go
is
see
a great
Guardians
pickup.
3.
Oh yeah,
go see Guardians 3.
Yeah, go see Guardians 3. That movie's awesome.
Sure. Okay, I'll see that because yeah, Creed just came on to now you can now digitally download Creed, so
VOD,
Creed
yeah.
3.
Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Buy Crusader Kings free. It's literally like $22.
Oh.
Anyway, we should move on to our first subject. So, ladies and gentlemen, our first subject is going to be a good one. Like, it's going to be a night. We're going to start off calm today. First of all, our Tears of the Kingdom thoughts and the success of Tears of the Kingdom. So, gentlemen, all the links are in the Twitter thread. I'm going to now show this to the people. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the second biggest Nintendo launch in UK history. So the Switch game source. So Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is the biggest boxed video game launch of the year in the UK. We're not even halfway through. JFK also reveals that the game is Nintendo's second biggest launch in UK history by revenue, behind 2008's Wii Fit. If we discount the balance board price, it is actually the biggest Nintendo release by revenue in terms of units. The game only lags behind Wii Fit and combined sales of Pokemon games, namely combined sales of Sun and Moon and Scarlet and Violet. Here is a list of the biggest UK launches in week one revenue, with Wii Fit and balance board in number 1. And Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in number 2, and then week 1 unit sales. As far as units sold in first week, Sun and Moon beat it, Silent, and all these beat it, so it's in 4th place. Its opening week sales eclipsed the box sales of Hogwarts Legacy by more than 50%. This is just box sales, and Hogwarts, which was released on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series SX in February, did have a very strong digital launch. Switch digital sales are typically much lower than other platforms, so it's unknown if the game outsold Hogwarts overall. Nintendo doesn't share digital data with the charts companies. It is easily the biggest Zelda launch in history, selling more than 2.7 times the opening sales of Breath of the Wild back in 2017. So, yeah, right up there. It beat Breath of the Wild, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of fucking Time, Skyward Sword HD, Link's Awakening, Spirit Tracks, and Ocarina of Time 3D. It is already the 8th biggest Zelda game of all time, ahead of 2011's Skyward Sword on Wii and 2003's The Wind Waker on GameCube. In terms of revenue, it's actually the 4th biggest Zelda game of all time, behind 1998's Ocarina of Time and 2006 Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild. It's not quite the biggest Switch launch of all time, although it comes pretty close. Its opening sales were 12% lower than last year's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet release. That's in units sold. When it comes to revenue, Zelda is the biggest Switch release ever, with the revenue up 8% over Scarlet and Violet. There is a popular limited edition of the Tears of the Kingdom, which carries the price over £100, which helped pull up the revenue figures. The popularity of Tears of the Kingdom has actually boosted its predecessor, Breath of the Wild. That game soared 31% in box sales week on week, and it is number 8 in the charts this week. Biggest UK all-time sale units, biggest Zelda games. Breath of the Wild is now at number 1. Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, Link's Crossbow Training. Okay, that's a surprise. Phantom Hourglass, Ocarina of Time 3D, and yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is currently in 8th as far as overall units sold.
That's only in the UK, correct?
Yes, this is only in the UK currently.
Okay.
Because we're literally that's like the worst thing is like the place that gives you the most data on units sold happens to be the fucking UK. Think about that. Outside of Zelda, TT Isles of Man, Ride on the Edge 3 is the only other new game in the charts, and Maximum Games title managed number 31 in the box charts. Hogwarts Legacy, which was at number 1 last week, dropped to number 2 with a 68% sale drop. Week on week, Jedi Fallen Order. I think they mean Jedi Survivor. Dropped a place to number 3, while the set with sales down 50% week on week. FIFA 23 goes up a spot to number 4 with the sales rising 43%, while Mario Kart 8 Deluxe drops to number 5. How is that game still selling? Sales were flat week on week. The other semi-release, Dead Island 2, drops 3 places to number 6 with the sales down 51% week on week. So this is the current. This is as of May 13th. These are the current rankings with Tears of the Kingdom at number 1, Hogwarts at 3, Jedi Survivor at Hogwarts Legacy at 2, Survivor at 3, FIFA at 4, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 5. Again, who the fuck is still buying that game? Mario Odyssey is at fucking 7 as well. How? Animal Crossing fucking New Horizons in 9th. Who are these people buying these Nintendo games? And Breath of the Wild's at 8, but again, they said there was an uptick, so I'm not surprised by that.
Who knows? People could be breaking their Switches and buying physical copies all over again. You know these kids be dropping Switches everywhere.
Yeah, I know these kids. So I'm happy that it sold. From everything that I've seen, it is a really good game. Well, most of what I've been seeing is people creating some really, really weird automaton shit in that game with some of the new mechanics. Like, it's mad that people are doing that. Like mechs. People are making mechs in that goddamn game. With the new mechanics. That is nutty. That is fucking nutty. I've seen Digital Foundry's video on it, which again has now convinced me more and more that there is somebody at Nintendo who has made some kind of deal with an outer god to be able to make Nintendo games run really. Literally, Nintendo are the only ones who can make games run well on that fucking platform at all. Because
really quick, I want to give a quick shout out to Capcom for Rise, because that's pretty stable for what they do in that game. That's the only other dev though.
Okay, fair enough. But like everybody else is struggling to keep a solid of 30, like 70% of the time. Okay, and the last time I checked, like Breath of the Wild actually runs at 720p in handheld mode. So I'll need to look that up. I don't know if it was handheld or docked, but either way, it actually reaches 720, unlike a lot of other games which are like sub 480, even less so. It's fucking ridiculous. But my one caveat to all of this, which I don't know if anybody else picked up or anybody else was going to bring mention to, so I'll do it first. It being the highest financial one does not surprise me, given the fact that they jacked the price by £10.
Yeah,
right, the revenue,
yeah. With revenue, that does not surprise me that they cracked it, considering they're not adjusting for anything there. They're just looking at, oh, it's £70 when all these other games were around like 50 or 60, and it's like, oh, of course it's beating the record. Well, of course it did, because you're selling it for £10 more. Like, it doesn't take away from the fact that it sold a lot more, or that it sold a lot, but I guarantee you they wouldn't be saying it's the highest revenue Zelda. I think which one was the other one that they said was actually second? Breath of the Wild. No, it wasn't. That's physical card. That's physical financial. Yeah, revenue. Yeah. I would turn around and say that it probably would be under maybe Pokemon Scarlet and Violet if this game was 60 and not 70. Possibly. I want to say possibly, because I'd actually have to look at hard numbers, but that's the reason why it's gotten so physical with it's got the revenue record that it did. So yeah. Smart thinking, scummy fucking thinking. Me personally, I still will not buy Tears of the Kingdom. Like, despite everything that I've said, despite some of my concerns being quenched by Digital Foundry about this game's performance, I'm still not going to buy it. At least I'm going to wait a year, because I know for a fact, knowing my luck, I will buy this game. A day later, they'll announce a new console or something that's going to be more powerful, and one of the day one releases is going to be Tears of the Kingdom. Because it would not surprise me, knowing Nintendo, that they are most likely going to re-release on their next console a remaster or an upgraded version of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. That would not surprise me at all. Now, to somebody who's probably going to defend that idea, I want to get Mr. Zero's thoughts first. You have 5 minutes on the clock, sir.
Game of the year.
Yeah.
I am absolutely excited for Tears of the Kingdom, and this with the caveat being like, I understand that there's probably some things. Sure, if you want to say people give Nintendo a pass, whatever, that's perfectly fine. But like Dante sort of alluded to, like it is somewhat of a modern miracle that the guys who make this, and I think it was over 200 developers who did Breath of the Wild, seem to like just masterfully design this game to do everything right, and then add it and make it even more interesting than it was before. I said in our chat earlier this week when it launched, it kind of pisses me off to no end that Game Freak is
Right.
unwilling to do this, because I don't even believe they're that untalented. They're just unwilling to do this, and so like it frustrates me to no end that they just won't get on the same level as the Zelda devs or the Mario devs, or hell, even the Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze devs. Like even that game was pretty solid. So I am thoroughly ecstatic. I can't wait till it gets here on Thursday. I will be pouring into it completely. I've absolutely loved the stuff that they've shown. Zelda's got to be one of the few franchises that exist through the 80s that still almost every time a mainline game comes out, it's a hit. We got a couple of I'm thoroughly impressed. I was going into this year thinking like Hogwarts is probably going to take Game of the Year. The machine that is Harry Potter is massive. Now I'm not so sure. I really think Zelda might take it this year. Unless something else is coming out later in this year. I guess Starfield. Starfield is the only thing I can think of that is supposed to quote unquote rival any of those two big games. Nobody else. Horizon didn't come out this year, right? It came out the year with Elden Ring. Yeah. And DLCs would never get a Game of the Year nomination, I don't think.
I would argue that point maybe. If it was something as big like Blood and Wine from
Witcher 3.
The Witcher 3. I can respect that. Even unfortunately for Horizon, even if it was Horizon, it was always bridesmaid, never the bride. Sadly enough. So, I'm happy. I can't wait to play it. I'll be telling you guys all about it. It looks so much fun. Everything I've seen about it just blast.
It is. It's great.
Yeah. I can't wait. I said I was like, I gave it was like Payload Extra, you can get it. I was like, I'll wait. Let me clean up some things and get some stuff together. I knew I wasn't going to have no time to play this weekend, so I was like, whatever. Let it come on Thursday. I'm going to be good to go.
All right, cool. Damn it, there was a point I was going to make as well. Jube, give us your thoughts, my man. You've clearly played the game.
I think it's dope. Like, I like that I don't have to, use my I can think outside the box and solve puzzles. I think that's like the biggest thing. Like, I don't have to solve it in like an arbitrary way. If I want to break the game to solve a puzzle, it kind of encourages that, if not outright saying it. Sales wise, I'm not surprised. I was at the midnight launch of this game. I had to go to 2 different GameStops because I had to get I pre-ordered the case and the Pro controller and the game. So I had to make 2
How's
trips.
that controller?
It's great. It's a Pro controller.
Exactly the same.
It is exactly the same. It's just aesthetic, it just has.
Like a lot of other controllers.
Yeah, like pretty much any other controller that gets
like
released,
the 90 controllers that we had.
Yeah, but no, it was packed. Like it was literally packed at both of them. Like it was absolute insanity.
I feel like that's the last game that's going to do that.
I
I
know.
miss
Is that like the
GameStop
end of an
releases.
era?
It's the end of an era.
Yeah, because physical doesn't really have that same weight on the other platform.
We need internet cafes. That's what
Yeah.
we need now.
I would say yes.
I was
For a lot of others, I'd say no for Nintendo. Nintendo is going to try
Yeah,
and take that
we
into
got-
next.
They literally
I-
just released a video of the first person buying Tears of Kingdom. Like, man,
Yeah.
Nintendo
I
physicals are up the shot.
they are.
Yeah,
I
but
will
we're
say
talking about across platforms. Releases, physical releases aren't what they.
yeah,
used to
they
be.
haven't like in-store pre-orders and physical shit has not been a big thing for a long time. To see that many people come out like for just for this game it was refreshing and dope, and it reminded me back in the day, back when
Yes.
Gears and Halo, like back when Halo, you got people lining up and shit and queuing
Call of
for just
Duty
a game,
releases.
not a
Because we missed the
console. Yeah,
pandemic.
not a console, but a game, huh?
But even like in 2020, we might have seen people in lines for a Series X or something like that. But because
Exactly,
of the pandemic,
but that's
that
for
got
a
ruined too.
console. Yeah,
True,
that's
true.
for a console.
Let's keep it on topic, boys.
Sorry, go ahead.
You
Go
may
ahead.
continue.
Yeah, like that's for console. Like just seeing people lined up like that for just a singular game. Well, it was a beautiful thing. It just harkened back to the good old days where hey, guess what? This game comes out at 10 tonight. Let's go hang out, shoot shit with random people, and pick up our game and go home and play. Whether that was Madden, what have you. Like we just don't have big in-store releases like this anymore. That's not like a piece of hardware. So it was just really dope to see. And it wasn't, like just seeing that at two, different GameStops in my city, like I could only imagine what it was like everywhere else. Like I read somewhere like it hit like 500K in sales in just France by itself. Like that's insane. That is an insane amount of people buying a game.
I mean,
and the
if you
fact
put content, then people are gonna buy it. Simple.
it blew the fact that it blew away Harry Potter, especially in the UK, like that just is like Harry Potter who for day one, like that's insanity, and I'm here for it. I'm looking forward to diving deeper into it and putting my thinking cap on and having some really obnoxious solutions for some of these puzzles.
Oh, okay. Before we move on to the next person, which so there has been rumblings since the game has been released. There has been rumblings in certain corners from some reputable sources that this is possibly they are possibly hoping to turn this into a trilogy. Knowing this game and the story as right now, they shouldn't. They
the
should.
story of it?
I think the creator already said that they're gonna work on the third one.
They should not
Already
make this a
confirmed.
trilogy.
Dante.
Yep.
These Nintendo people are experts at selling Zelda, bro.
No. I'm not saying this from a sales standpoint or anything like. I'm speaking personally from a story standpoint.
I mean,
like if they want to do a trilogy, I'd be all for that. But the trilogy, it cannot. It needs to be something else. It is kind of my point. Like it's people understand. I'm not going into spoilers, and I don't want to. But with where this story goes, the trilogy needs to. The third one in the game kind of needs to be. It can be the same Link. It can be the same Zelda, but like the story kind of needs to be a bit disconnected from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, if that makes sense. All right.
We also got to act like we haven't been playing the same damn story over and over and over again on some.
No,
level.
okay. Let me go a little bit deeper in what I mean. So, what I mean is with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, they are direct sequels, to each other. Even in terms of story, they are direct sequels. What I mean is the third game needs to be the Majora's Mask to this Ocarina of Time. Like it's the same characters, but the story is completely different. You get that? That's what I mean. Like that is a
Oh,
direct
okay.
sequel, but like story-wise, it can't be a direct sequel because again, I'm not going to go into spoilers.
Depending on how the story ends, we'll see.
I know
But-
how the story ends. Is kind of that's why I'm saying this.
Oh,
But I'm-
that's terrible. Why'd you do that to yourself?
Again, I'm waiting for the next fucking Nintendo console to pick this up.
Nah, we're gonna be waiting for like 2 years before we get that new Switch.
Okay,
yeah,
once
you're gonna wait for a long period of time, dude.
It's gonna be
It's gonna be
2027 before he out here getting.
I wouldn't say that because Nintendo just forecasted their first decline in sales on the Switch, so they are expecting to see a decline in Switch sales, which could lead to new hardware.
And once again,
I want
y'all motherfuckers forget I'm that same stubborn son of a bitch that waited for Death Stranding for over a fucking year. And waited for fucking Final Fantasy VII for well over a fucking year to just to get it on Steam and
But
not
are you
Epic
gonna wait
Store.
for free?
I
Are you willing to
understand
wait
your
for 2 to
issue
3?
with Epic Games Store. I mean, at the end of the day, it's
Does
the
it
same.
like the
they're
launcher?
No. I have no issue. I have no issue with it. My whole thing is I just like it. Mine isn't an issue with like God damn it! I apologize for going off on a tangent. These guys have dragged me into this. My issue isn't with Epic. If they've got exclusive games on there, I will buy it exclusively on there, like the Evil Dead game. But if I know the game is going to be on there for a short period of time and then come to Steam, I'll get it on Steam because that's where all my library is. I have no issue with Epic Store as a platform, but I prefer to keep all of my games. Yeah, I prefer my games on one platform.
I can understand that. I mean, that's what a lot of Steam people are. I mean, as long as it's single player games, I usually don't care. But yeah.
But yeah, like I will wait for a new because I guarantee you, Breath of the Wild and fucking Tears of the Kingdom double pack coming with the next Nintendo console, guaranteeing it. All right, Kofi, your thoughts? Go ahead, my sir.
So yeah, seeing this game sell so well, and it being like this is only the third time that a game has had a true sequel within the Zelda franchise. The second time that they did that, I didn't even play the games, but Majora's Mask, Ocarina of Time, absolutely a piece of my childhood. So for them to come back and to make so many people happy has me elated. Of course, I am still very stubborn in a way, kind of like Dante, not exactly 1-to-1. I just don't like holding the Switch. I just don't like it. I saw that there are some really great Joy-Cons that I could get to attach to the Switch, and I just didn't feel like spending money on it. I mean, it's like only $40. It looks really great. It's got great reviews. And I got Shin Megami Tensei 5 to play, and I'm just like, I would rather enjoy some of these backlog games I'm either have on my Vita or my PS5. So I just don't know when I would do that for Tears of the Kingdom. So for me, I don't know exactly when, but I'm just happy that Nintendo can sit on top because I do have memories of Wii U and it being seeing the doom and gloom articles about Nintendo and them not having their mojo anymore. So this has been great.
Can I interject just to give you clarification on a point you made?
Sure.
There's actually been a lot more than what people remember. So there was Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask. That was a direct sequel.
Right.
There was A Link to the Past and A Link Between Worlds. That was another one. There was also
A Link Between Worlds is a sequel to Link in the Past.
Yes.
Is that the one where he was in the walls?
Yes.
Oh, that's actually a sequel to Link to the Past.
Yes.
Okay.
There is Oracle of Seasons and Oracle of Ages.
That's true, but that's almost like the Mega Man Battle Network, where it was like the same game.
I'm gonna stamp down. Still counts. And there was also Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks.
Okay, that's the one I knew. Yeah, I knew Phantom Hour. Okay, I didn't know about A Link Between Worlds.
Yep.
I should probably go back and play that. Link to the Past is actually my favorite in the entire series. Okay.
There's also Link's Awakening, which was also kind of a pseudo sequel to Link to the Past as well. So technically, Link to the Past had 2 sequels.
Okay, very interesting. I've played Link's Awakening. Link's Awakening is good. It's a good game. Okay, so where was I going with that? Oh yeah, so I mean in general, I that's what I was going to touch on about the people going to the store for a physical game sale for Nintendo. Extremely nostalgic to see people do that. I saw Bowser, selling the first copy in New York. That was really cool. Of
That's
course,
fucking
many
adorable.
people. Yeah, I know, right? And then the whole theme with his name and everybody else celebrating this great game. Seeing Nintendo as a competitor for great games is awesome to see. So, yeah, more power to them. And I think that Zelda will be reimagined in a way for whatever comes next. But just like Dante said, I'm imagining some sort of new Switch renewal, and then we're going to get some performance improvements on Tears of the Kingdom. And I would love to see if maybe they could pull me in at that point. Because I just feel like buying physical things for my current Switch, just like Dante said, like I feel like by the end of this year, we might know enough about what 2024 could bring, and that would make me upset I spent those $40 or $50. So
Yep.
that's just me.
Because going on to that performance thing, I'll add on to that, dude. Again, I'm going to be very vulgar when I say this, but the idea of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, even if it's only at 1080, but 1080p, 60 frames per second, gets my dick hard.
That 60 FPS. That FPS that we want you council gamers to enjoy that y'all don't care about for some reason.
Yeah. We are gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that.
We should get into that.
Oh no, it actually does relate to this. It relates to Tears of the Kingdom. We're gonna get into that. Who else have we got? Okay, you know what, Omar, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so first of all, I want to say to Zero, you thought about you saying that it's a shame that other franchises don't get the same, love that, or rather that impressment that is Tears of Kingdom is getting. That on Nintendo. Nintendo need to tell them, hey, look, this is the standard. We want you to do that. And if they don't do that, then you get a game like that Pokemon game.
This is true,
But
but
other
then you
than
get
that, yeah, go ahead.
that it is the number 2 highest selling game in the UK. And I honestly, yes, Nintendo's definitely has a say in this, but what Game Freak is a weird mishmash of a bunch of companies together. So it's like the Pokemon company, it's Nintendo. It's not solely a Nintendo thing.
They don't like companies.
Yeah, they don't pull the reins in the same way that Sony is telling Sony Santa Monica, you need to get this together right now.
Or even Nintendo. Or you know what? Sorry, let me even give credence to your point. Or like Nintendo. Like Nintendo has 100% control and pulls the reins. I guarantee you they did it with Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, absolutely. Whereas I'm not saying you're wrong, Omar. I would love for perhaps Nintendo to actually step in and do something. But clearly I think at this point, whatever mishmash of company that a Game Freak exists as is able to do what they want to do without too much oversight. And unfortunately, they keep making shit ton of money, so Nintendo has no reason to tell them otherwise. It's just frustrating because that fucking game runs terrible.
It is frustrating because you want the best version of everything. Especially if you're a fan. Going back to it, I told you so, Dante. It's gonna be reviewed very well.
I never saw.
I'm not surprised. What I forgot what Tears of the Kingdom, no, not Tears of the Kingdom, the other one. Breath of the Wild is sitting at meta-wise.
They're both at 97s, I think.
They're close to each other.
Yeah, he was a little bit lower.
Said Tears is a little bit lower.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's because of that one review. That's what made it. Look, I've seen the gameplay. It looked creative, which Nintendo never lacked creativity. My biggest issue, which I said with Breath of the Wild, is the weapon durability. Like, that shit irked the fuck out of me till today. Other than that, if I had Switch, that would have been a game that I would absolutely be playing. Because it just looked creative. I don't know anything about the story, so it's going to be something new for me. But I love the concept of solving puzzles creatively. That's what I did with Immortal Phoenix Rising. The developer told me to go from A to B. I went all the way to Z by just outsmarting the game, and that's what Breath of Tears of the Kingdom is. Welcome to puzzle solving and stuff like that. Think outside the box. I've seen so many things. The mecha is one of them. I've seen a lot of things that work, and I've seen some stuff that doesn't work. So it's just, yeah, congrats to Nintendo. They still got it, and they know what it takes. And that's how it should be. Creativity should always be the forefront. What Nintendo shoots themselves in with is the fact that they have people like me and Kofi and Dante not pulling the trigger strictly because we're waiting on the next console. Because as much as I want a Switch, I don't have the money to buy a Switch and then buy the next one when I just put so much money into the first one to begin with. The fact that Nintendo had a plan to, apparently the rumor was that they had a Switch, but a successor to the Switch, but they postponed it. I'm genuinely curious if Tears of the Kingdom was supposed to be coming with the next Switch, but it didn't, and here we are. Cause me, Dante, and Kofi, I'm pretty sure we're not the only ones that are waiting on a new Switch. Like many exist that are also waiting on on a Switch. But that's about it. Congrats to Tears of the Kingdom. Genuinely congrats to Nintendo for actually respecting physical sales. Not sales, but like physical media in general. The fact that there's so many people stood in the line, and also so many people on my timeline playing the game, is a testament to just how much of a juggernaut Nintendo as a whole is, but also their IP is. It all goes down to this. When you make great games, people are gonna come and wanna play them. Simple.
Yeah, to add to a point, Breath of the Wild currently stands at a 97 on Metacritic for anybody who cares, while Tears of the Kingdom stands at a 96. But Breath of the Wild has 19 more reviews than Tears of the Kingdom, so it could bump up to a 97. It could stand equal. For me, I think maybe one of the issues some people had, and I think it is a valid critique, is there was not in the entirety, because there are new sections, but maybe there wasn't enough sections or an expansion of the world for people. Like, they didn't expand Hyrule enough, which I think might be I believe is a valid criticism. But I also look at it on the Switch and I'm like, there is no way they could have packed even more on there. If they tried to expand that map any goddamn more, I actually think it might have started leaking out of the game, out of the fucking Switch's hard drive or memory.
Yeah, memory leaks galore. They did a good job.
They did a fantastic job fitting that entire game. But they tried to expand that map any goddamn more than it already was. Like, I actually think that the Switch would set on fire. Pharaoh, your thoughts? Keep it within 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I mean, it's good to see the game do well. I mean, same sentiments as everyone else. I expected the game to do well. I'm pretty sure it'll get Game of the Year, and a lot of people will be mad about it because a lot of their favorite games have come out in the past, 12 months. Like God of War, Ragnaroks, and things like that. So, but I mean, Zelda has just built up a lot of goodwill over what? Zelda's been out for what?
1988.
30 plus years?
88, right? Yeah.
Oh, we're going on 40. soon. Like
Yeah.
this year, it will go on 40.
So, yeah, built up a lot of goodwill over time. I mean, it's very hard to call any of the releases a flat out miss. In that series. So they built a lot of goodwill up, and people of all ages get to love and play the game, which is not, typical of most of the big releases. Typically, they have like target audiences versus Zelda, which has an audience that's literally for everyone. Yeah, it's good to see it do well.
Yep. And by the way, if we're going like when it first officially come out, it will be 40 years old in 2026.
Okay.
Fuck, we're old. We're all old here. We're old men, guys. It's finally happened. It's finally happened. We're old men.
Yeah, we're all to begin with. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair,
Yeah.
like that's the thing about Legend of Zelda that is, if you count the ones Nintendo. Okay, I'm gonna preference this before someone becomes a smartass. The ones that Nintendo.
Wanda Gamelon.
There it is. I knew it. Fuck you. Fuck you. Zero. Fuck you. If you don't count those, and you only count the ones that Nintendo themselves have made themselves, there's never been a bad Zelda game. Like, there's never been a bad one. There might have been one that stumbles and misses and maybe trips over its own feet. I'm looking at Skyward Sword. Because goddamn, that game is overly long. That game puts Resident Evil fucking Zero's backtracking to shame. But there's never been a fall flat in your face failure for them. Like for a lot of their franchises. But going to a point that Omar said is a credence you add to Nintendo holding the reins of their franchise is pretty tight. Especially now more, because I feel like with the Wii, they outsourced a lot, and they realized that they need to control their franchises a bit more, is the fact that Prime 4 has been apparently reset like 4 to 5 times by now. Like,
It's giving me Breath of the Wild vibes, because Breath of the Wild took a long time.
Breath of the Wild was supposed to be a fucking Switch launch title. That never happened. Which I think is another reason why, if there is going to be a console come out, we're probably going to hear more about it at the end of the year, and it's not going. And they didn't want to make this a launch title because they didn't want another Breath of the Wild situation where they made promises and couldn't keep them. But yeah, like a lot of their franchises, they are now like keeping like 100% control over, because again, it's Retro Games. Retro Games is on board, like, helping to make it / consulting on it, but they've already reset it 5 times. So Nintendo's clearly not worried about, wasting some money to pursue the goal of giving the fans what they want, which I can give them credit for, but in other regards, I can turn around and say they're fucking scummy as shit for doing it, for some of their other practices. They offer one hand, they offer one hand and arm the other, is what Nintendo does.
Yeah, but so you got to factor in their attach rate as well. I mean, they have the luxury of that patience when like 40% of their console user base buys the first party game.
That's because that's like 80% of Nintendo's games is first party.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and then they have a really high attach rate with the consumer.
Yeah,
like versus like when you look at other consoles.
I agree with that. Now, in lieu of open discussion, I do want some thoughts on 2 topics that have come around. One is an argument that I have been seeing, and you guys who are involved in the Twitter space, I'm fucking sure you saw it. Again, I just want thoughts on it, not like I don't want arguments. The first one is this argument, and I'll give my thoughts. This fucking stupid ass argument that people are praising Breath of the Wild, even though it's only 720p 30 frames per second, but shit on Redfall for being 30 frames per second. I think that comparison is asinine. I think it's absolutely moronic, because first of all, the difference in power is like the difference between like Super Saiyan and Super Saiyan Blue. Like there is a massive jump in power where one can handle it but doesn't, and the other one couldn't handle 60 frames per second and does what it does with what it's got. Like, that is a fault on Nintendo for not having more powerful hardware out yet, but with what they're working with, the fact that this can run at 30 frames per second at all with what they do should be lauded. So, you know, so getting pissy that people are praising Breath of the Wild but shitting on Redfall for only being 30 frames per second is an asinine thing to get really pissy about. At least to me. Nappy, what are your thoughts on that argument?
So if you're gonna compare, it's like weird because I guess Nintendo Switch users, they kind of have the expectation of it running at 30. Heck, Skyward Warriors Age of Calamities doesn't even run at 30 FPS on Nintendo Switch. It's like two different fan base audience. Like Xbox, they've been promised 60 FPS for the longest. And I'm a little upset because my man Jubei up here was complaining one whole episode because he didn't get a chance to experience that 60 FPS. This man's about to buy a graphics card. I mean, I'm happy for you, but I feel sad for you. Like, you deserve that 60 FPS. Nintendo players, they don't seem to care about that 30 FPS or the 60 FPS. They just want 30 30 FPS, you know, the half slice of pizza. And as long as it has their favorite toppings, they're good. Now, for me personally, I do think that ever since I got the taste of the 60 FPS when I first got my GTX 770 and slapped that in my computer, I can't go back to 30. It doesn't feel the same to me. Going back to the comparison, I don't think it is really much of a fair comparison because it's two different consoles with two different audience that have two different expectations from the companies that they get their entertainment from. I think Redfall should have came at 60. I mean, you could still play and have a good time at 30, but, you know, again, like two different audience, two different expectations. So
Yeah, fair enough.
If I could just add, and really it's just I thoroughly agree with Nappy. Two very different expectations. I think what usually happens is people want Nintendo people to have the 60 FPS or 30 expectations, and it's like, you can't force me to have it, guy. Like, you can make fun of me for not liking it, perfectly fine, but you can't force me to want what you want. But at least for the Redfall thing, and Jubei said it because he's the one who's been playing it, he's deep dived into it. Outside of all the issues that the game was sort of fundamentally broken, at its core, it's just not an interesting game. Like, that game could come out running perfectly, buttery smooth.
Exactly.
And it would still be the most meh little thing we've ever played.
Yeah, but again, sorry, I've got to keep us on topic. Like, that wasn't the issue. Like, the thing that was making the rounds on Twitter and in these spaces was Breath of the Wild comes out 30 FPS, gets Game of the Year. People are shitting on Redfall for being 30. Like, it nothing really to do with gameplay. It's just that point.
It does. Dante.
Yeah.
Even if you had 60 FPS in Redfall, it's still a flawed design of the game. It would not have mattered. Nothing changes.
That's not me making that argument. Like, people's core argument, like, and I'll say it's mainly from fucking Xbox guys, that it's Xbox guys who have been complaining about this. Like, their complaint is people shit on Redfall because it's not 30 frames per second, but will laud and say Game of the Year for Tears of the Kingdom, and that's only 30 frames per second. Like,
because here's if the game is good, all is forgiven.
Yep, that's what it
is.
And these people must think that
nobody would have cared if Redfall was actually like fundamentally sound on a design level. Nobody would give a shit that it's 30. I honestly don't even notice that it's 30. Like, I don't have an issue with it playing it with VRR and shit. But again, if the base game itself was not, you know, not great, it wouldn't have mattered. If it came out, everything is great. The only caveat is it's 30. Nobody would have gave a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
absolutely no one. nobody gave Plague's Tale shit for being just 30. Like,
Yeah.
there's like
Facts.
that's
It
just
took
what the
them a
game is.
long
It,
time to
like,
get that patch.
yeah, like you want to play this game? Yeah, the game's good. Why not? It doesn't matter if it's 30. I'm gonna play it because it's good.
That's
It's
really
not good though.
great.
Maybe I should have done more conveying it. The people who are complaining are people who clearly think that Redfall is like at least a fucking 80 or 90 Metacritic. Like that's what they would have scored it, and they're just really angry that people are pissy that Redfall is running at 30, but Tears of the Kingdom is running 30, but everybody doesn't care. And they're not
Zelda,
getting it
baby.
shit for running 30. Yeah, because it's Zelda. But also, again, going to Nappy's point, like it's expectations, but it's also like it's also common knowledge. Like, ain't no game running 60 frames per second on fucking Switch. Nobody is running nothing.
But can you blame them? Can you blame them? The Wii U had a bunch of 1080p 60 games, and nobody gave a fuck. Nobody gave a fuck about the Wii U, even though it had more 60 frames per second games than other consoles. I'm just saying, like, solid.
They were just like, "What's
nobody gave a fuck."
Nobody seems to care.
No, because everybody was too busy looking at that fucking main screen they had to look at that was in 30 frames per second to realize the actual game was in 60.
We were too busy looking down.
Yeah, because to my remembrance, like that, like yes, the game might have been in 60, but I'm pretty goddamn sure the pad that you were looking at, like 90% of the time, was actually at 30 frames per second, not 60.
Was Punch out in 60?
For the Wii U?
Yeah, was it?
There wasn't a Punch out for the Wii. That was Punch
I
out
mean,
for Wii.
For the Wii.
Wii,
Yeah, it must have been 30.
Yeah, it was 30.
Yeah, for the Wii, it's definitely 30. Yeah, never mind. My fault.
Side note, Jubei, you know what people are saying? People are saying that Dead Island 2 is actually a better co-op shooter than Redfall. It has better. It's bare bones. It
has better bones. Yes, it does. From a design perspective, yes, it does. It's very safe and boring. I mean, from a design perspective, it's just extremely pretty and actually plays decently. So
yeah, the gore. Actually, people love the gore of it.
Yeah, like I said, and
Dead Island 2 is fucking beautiful.
I just said it's very pretty. Did you not hear that sentence come out of my mouth?
Yeah,
I hear a lot of things come out of your mouth. I tune out most of it.
Wow. Okay.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why the UK still needs to sink into the sea. This right here.
Oh yes,
Forever hate on the
am
country.
The reason. I am the reason.
Said that.
The sole reason.
I am the
Specific
sole
reason.
reason.
Only
I am the sole
He's
reason
too
we should get
salty.
nuked. This man clearly hates my guts, despite the fact that, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago when he said the UK could go into the sea, he said he'd get me out first.
You know what? This Noah's Ark is closed.
No, he's gonna leave you.
I'll take Amadeus, and I'll take your friends. Do you remember that dinosaur that got left on Jurassic World, bro? The one that was just left on the beach.
Wow.
Yeah, that's gonna be you, bro. That's gonna be you.
And bring a tear to the eyes. We see Dante just flipping us off as the UK just blows up.
Nah. You know what? It'd be me. I'd be sat on a chair. I'd be sat on a chair with this exact cup of coffee, just doing this.
while sinking to the bottom of the drink, bro.
Yes. And the last thing you see is like fucking T2 style, just a middle finger slowly going into the fucking water.
Somebody's gonna find his skeleton somewhere in the English fucking Channel, like 1,000 years into the future, and be like, "Wow, this guy was cool." I wonder what that gesture means.
Oh
my god.
Ruby is still salty. It's funny.
I'm salty as hell.
He is salty.
Yeah, and I'm never ever gonna fucking hear him stop bashing my country. I mean, here's the thing: the worst part is he's bashing my country for an organization.
What's gonna happen to him if the deal actually doesn't go through and get blocked officially?
The best thing that came from the UK is fish and chips and the goddamn Beatles. That's all y'all got. That's it.
Wait, what about
I
Iron Maiden?
got nothing else.
Hold on. What about Iron Maiden? What about Judas Priest? What about Motorhead?
What about us, America?
Yeah, what about y'all fucking Americans?
Nah. Hey, there's no us. You know there is no us. in that.
This is true. We weren't a part of that storyline just yet. We didn't come into like
Nah.
season 2.
Dr. Umar is scowling right now,
Yeah,
bro.
like, hold on.
Yeah,
Just to
he's like,
show,
he comes
just
out
to
of
show
nowhere.
two
Sorry,
examples.
beg your
I beg your pardon.
I would recommend. Hold on, just to put a cap in this, just to give everybody context. These are just two examples of what I'm talking about. And then we'll move on. But like, just have a gander at this. Like, these are just two examples. If you type in Redfall Tears of the Kingdom, you'll get a lot of this on Twitter. Like, this is that kind of shit that I'm talking about.
I believe it, and I think those people are stupid. But
A little
They'll be fine.
Like, this one. Oh my god! But here's the thing. Like,
that animation had a better frame rate than fucking Redfall does.
Yeah, look at this. Like, this is that
720p
Xbox community.
20 FPS.
Dante, but what I don't get is why are we even covering that? Like,
No, because we're talking.
War nonsense.
You know why? Because we're just talking Tears of the Kingdom in general, Omar.
Mhm.
We're just talking like again, impressions, reactions, and shit. Like it's that kind
People
of
are
shit.
clearly
This shit
salty.
is what I fucking hate about fandoms. Like, and I'm not singling out fucking Xbox here. I hate it about Nintendo. I hate it about fucking PC. I hate it about PlayStation. I hate it about fucking everything. Fandoms, like that side of fandoms fucking ruin everything. Fucking everything. Fuck 'em.
They clearly are salty about Redfall. Not
Yeah,
meeting
they're salty and
expectations.
they do false equivalencies. Like I said, if Redfall is a good game, nobody would be talking about the frame rate.
I agreed.
Good games
You know,
cures
if
all.
Redfall is a good game.
I do.
You
I
don't-
know. By the way, we're all just so everybody's decided, we're all on board with what Jubei is saying. We're just laughing at to put it in my terms, the English terms, in the brash terms. At this point, we're just laughing at retards right now because this is some stupid shit.
I don't go back and play Final Fantasy VII OG because it looks great. It looks like fucking Legos and garbage, but
it does.
It's
still
great.
Fun story. Fun story. Great story.
Yeah, we all got games like that. We all got games like that.
We can end that Final Fantasy VII.
They were like, "Oh, we're talking real crazy. That's great. Pharaoh about to be real cool."
All right.
So you gonna tell me no voices and just arm gestures and arm flailing is it looks good to you?
It's like
those
It's fantastic for that. It was fantastic for that time period. You
For
know,
that
when-
time, bro.
when-
I'm old.
when I pop in Final Fantasy VII Remake, it looks exactly how I remember it in 1997.
yeah. He puts on those remaster glasses. Like he switches.
And I thought
Your
I
remaster
smoked
glasses.
a lot of weed, sir. Sir, you're off base. I thought I was the high one on this.
Yeah,
podcast.
you might want to
Good
check your coffee. I think you might have more than weed in there. All right. Okay, I need to get a cap, like a proper dictator cap for topics like this, so people know when I'm laying down the fucking law on this shit. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, topic 3. We are just giving our thoughts. We're not going in depth. That can be saved for another podcast, especially when it's more relevant, because again, we're still waiting for a lot of other shit, especially the documents fully to come out. But the EU has passed the Activision Microsoft deal. I want thoughts. That's all I want is just thoughts. You have fucking 5 minutes. I'm going to let Omar go first because
I'm not gonna argue with him
because I know.
It's okay.
Okay, I'm sure you're not. But I'm going to let Omar go first because then I know Jubei is going to have something to fucking say afterwards. And then I can put my fucking foot on both their throats for it. So, Omar, please, go.
Congratulations. I'm gonna see what you call it, USA is gonna say, and after that we're gonna see if the CMA gonna change their decision, which so far they said no, we're not gonna do so. And then I'm curious what's gonna happen after that. But other than that, yeah, no. Congratulations.
Nice and concise, exactly how I like it. All right. Actually, you know what? Zero's gonna go next because I know Zero has been very honest about not wanting this deal to go through. So, Zero, please give us your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm not particularly a fan of the deal. Not specifically anything from Microsoft as a whole. Just I don't like consolidation. I worry where this leads us into the future. As far as the deal is concerned, I'll admit I've tuned out about like 6 months ago and about following the whole deal. So I am not very well versed on it. Seems to me that the EU, not the UK, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, EU approving it, like that gives them a shot. Like, so you're saying there's a chance. There's still a fight to go. The match is not over. I honestly do not know what that means for this deal as a whole. I am sure Pharaoh will enlighten me when he speaks onto it. But cool for Microsoft. Personally, now I'm actually just really invested in it not going through, just to see what Activision does. I'm just really curious of like how they gonna move if like this doesn't go through. I'm fascinated by what's next for them if this doesn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Jube? Go ahead.
I'm glad the adults in the well-developed and first-rate European countries entered the chat. I'm so glad about that. I'm also glad that their basis for saying literally just torpedoes the CMA's arguments. Like I am excited to see where this goes. I want to see appeals. I want to see the UK be that lonely island that it is, as the only person that said nah. So either y'all get nothing or y'all bend the knee. One of those two things is going to happen if the rest of that plays out. And I can't wait.
Big
Is
shout
the
out to
only
Italy.
Englishman? Is the only Englishman here? I'm feeling like I'm being personally attacked for no reason.
Fifth rate
I told
islands
you, he's
deserve
gonna leave you.
nothing.
I have
save
personally
you.
done nothing. I have been Sweden on this whole fucking thing. I
Sweden, who
been
probably
Sweden.
approved it as members
Yeah,
of the
they
EU.
probably fucking will too.
Yeah.
But like, I
think Sweden is an EU member state. So
it is.
yeah, it's
I'm
already-
actually going to
yeah,
get
yeah.
into this. I'm going to get into this at the end because that's a clarification that needs to be made. But like, yeah, and this man, again, this man is personally attacking me.
I'm not personally
I
attacking
told you,
I'm
he's
just
gonna
attacking the
leave you.
soil. I'm attacking the soil you draw breath on, sir. It's okay.
I draw
You're
breath.
gonna absolutely leave him if you ever nuke that country. Like, man,
Be careful.
Y'all should be used to holding L's, bro. Y'all let an army of
Like, it's not
shower
my fault you
stomp
had the
y'all
nerve
out.
to be born there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on, Kofi. Save me from this harassment.
No, I mean, it's hard for me
No,
to
he
say
said no.
because the
UK
onslaught is
sucks.
crazy. But
this dude lives
hey,
in the USA, and when I talk about holding L,
what I wanna I guess say is there are some things I don't like about Activision and their leadership, and sometimes they seem to have redeeming qualities in things like making people happy with Diablo. But I am not going to forget Kotick and me wanting him removed. So if this eventually involves them getting acquired and Kotick actually leaving, I would love that because in the way I'm looking at things, if the acquisition does not happen, he might just stick around. And beyond that, yes, I do hate talking about it. I'm not as removed as Reggie. I do pay attention maybe within the last month or so. But otherwise, whenever I see CMA drama on my timeline, I'm like, why am I not playing a game? Right? Why am I scrolling? Let me just go play my game. So I am kind of removed. There are. I know that this will go on for a while because the appeals most likely will get pushed into the end of this year, next year, or something like that for the CMA portion. And so I'm just hoping that we can see the this publisher is they just need to turn some things around. Other things that they're working on seem to be doing better, at least for more recent releases. So I like those kind of things. But I think that there's just a long-term overhaul of being acquired and allowing your studios to work with other studios to help better gaming. So I know that that's not a night and day process. It's going to take, to be honest, I think the rest of the gen to get all of those teams together, figure out what everybody wants to do, making sure people don't just leave when they get acquired, right? So we'll see. I don't I don't necessarily have any bad feelings to it. I just know that, yay, you're acquired is just the first day of a lot of work. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Nappy, your thoughts?
My thoughts are congratulations, Microsoft, for getting one approval. Sony, I will root for you if you make Final Fantasy 16 come out day one in June with everything else. Other than that, I'm going to be rooting for Microsoft because I got to wait till goddamn Christmas for a goddamn game, and I had to spend time with my family on Christmas, so I won't be able to play it properly.
It may not come out to a hot window. You know what I'm saying? Like a window that they think they're going to sell best. That might not be like March. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when
even
Final
further
Fantasy-
Coffee, don't make him. He's gonna join you,
All right,
babe.
keep it
I'm sorry.
keep it
I'm
on
sorry.
point.
No, I'm saying I'll
My
keep
bad,
it short
my
and brief, but yes, I want it to succeed just because they want to do these time exclusives. That's my only reason.
His reason for them wanting them to succeed is because he hates PlayStation's timed exclusives. I do not disagree with that statement in some regards. All right, Pharaoh, your thoughts?
I mean, it was pretty much what I expected. I think that the CMA's stance was incorrect, and I mean, I don't really think it's any fault of their own. They are fairly new at what they are doing. They were part of the EU previously, so they didn't necessarily have to make those decisions themselves. They weren't really allowed to necessarily make these type of decisions themselves. And the gaming market is something that these regulators haven't almost never looked at. We haven't really had much regulation take place within the gaming industry. So I think the decision was slightly misguided, and I think ultimately it gets corrected. And I think that the CMA, based on their statements today, has felt a lot of pressure recently, and they're defending their decision. So that's kind of what I've seen.
Yeah, the CMA was first founded in 2013. Yeah. So now we just need to wait on if Sony or anybody else tries to appeal this decision. And something else.
Also...
Hold on. And something else that should be brought up as a point to everybody about this decision as well is I don't believe this decision had to be a unanimous one because I believe it kind of came down to I'm not entirely knowledgeable about how this regulation works. All I know for an absolute certainty is if there were any countries inside the EU who didn't want this merger to happen, for example, say France or something like that, they did not want this merger to happen, they can't do dick about this now. Because this stuff goes through the EU, and that basically becomes the law of the land across the entirety of the EU. The countries within the EU basically have no say on it.
Mm-hmm.
So none of these countries can turn around and tell the EU to eat a dick. They are practically forced into accepting the rule of the EU at this point.
When it comes to this, if the CMA keep blocking, which they're gonna keep doing, what's then the end goal? Cause Microsoft is gonna try to appeal, and CMA gonna still keep saying no. FTC is all eyes are on the FTC right now, right?
Well, Jubeir's eyes aren't. But
The CMA doesn't get to say no. It goes to a different authority, and the authority that they have more authority than the CMA. They don't control the CMA, but the decision that they make is the decision that the CMA has to go with.
Nope, they don't.
So
even if it goes to Cat and Cat sends it back, the CMA can be like, "Well, fuck that. There you go." So we'll see.
They can be overruled.
Now, yeah, they can.
Yeah,
They can be.
like
Is it? Go ahead.
the cat has the ability to outright overrule the CMA, or they have the right to overrule certain aspects that they contended within the deal, which the only thing they contended is cloud. So if they say that the cloud is not the remedies for the cloud are sufficient, then the CMA doesn't really have any basis based on their initial
they
findings
have to
to block the
literally
deal.
pull something else out of their ass if they still want to block it.
Because
Like,
once
that's-
again, the CMA is an
the whole-
independent body.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now people talking about the FCC, oh, they're blocking it. Like they won't go to Fed court. Why? If they wanted to block it, this shit will be in Fed court already, and it's not.
Now, what is interesting is that the CMA has been summoned to Parliament tomorrow, regarding not necessarily Activision Blizzard, but just how they are operating.
Somebody's getting their
in
ass
general.
chewed out tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean it's not entirely like the FTC, where the FTC is a federal agency.
Yeah, but they're a federal agency that like their teeth is literally bringing a federal suit against you. That's how.
And the
That's
Prime
how they
Minister
work.
said that he wants to rein in the CMA so that they're guided more appropriately.
Yeah,
So we'll see what happens with them tomorrow.
No. And by the way, Jube, I'm just saying like that's the difference between the CMA and the FTC. The FTC is a federal agency, where the CMA is an independent body.
Yep.
So like, if anything, the FTC has more fangs than the CMA in this regard.
Less fangs, actually.
Less fangs.
They
Less
actually
fangs.
they have the power. The CMA can, as we saw, they blocked the deal. The FTC cannot block a deal. They can only contest a deal. It's up to the courts to actually block it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they can at least take it to court. I don't believe the CMA can take it to court, and the CMA can
They
be
can't-
overruled.
They can be, but it's not likely.
Exactly.
Unless Parliament steps in, like it ain't really gonna happen unless Cat is like,
Well,
nah,
it's
y'all.
hard to say that it's not likely because, like I said, the CMA is fairly new at what they're doing, like as they're currently operating. So they don't have a large enough body to establish, the precedence of what is likely and what isn't likely. It's just not enough cases yet.
All right. And now we're on to our third topic. As asked for by certain members of this chat, I'll let you guess who. This panel, I'll let you guess who. Issues in the lower PlayStation ecosystem. So there are there's been a lot of news about studios and games about from PlayStation. That we're gonna go over and give our thoughts, because I mean at least at the lower end of the PlayStation structure, there seems to be a lot of quite a bit of rumbling going on. So first of all was the shutting down of Pixel Opus. Pixel Opus was shut down near the beginning of May. And they even tweeted out, "Dear friends, our Pixel Opus adventure has come to an end. As we look to the new futures, we wanted to say a heartfelt thank you to the millions of passionate players who have supported us and our mission to make beautiful, imaginative games with heart." This is the same studio behind Concrete Genie and various other games. And that is the wrong one. And now there is more news coming out as of the 14th of May that I can't say that name. How do you say that? I'm terrible. I'm terrible. at spelling.
Devastation Games report.
Devention. Thank you. Devention Games has laid off dozens of workers following a difficult situation. This one I am going to read out. PlayStation-backed Division Games has reportedly laid off as many as 90 employees. That's according to VGC sources, in quotes, and personal announcements shared on LinkedIn, which described a difficult situation that forced the layoffs. These are some of the accounts. A bunch of colleagues and friends were laid off at Divention Games today, wrote Christopher Berry. While software engineer Kyle Perez added, "My studio recently ran into a difficult situation, was forced to make a number of layoffs, which I was a part of." Today we add a new piece of life experience being laid off, says Mickey G. Thank you for my former colleagues at Division Games. It's been a pleasure collaborating with you and learning from you. Unfortunately, I was affected by the layoffs at Division Games. I was looking for roles in production, added Gerard B. And to my former colleagues, it has been an honor and a privilege to work with so many of the talented individuals. I will miss you all. We know Division Games has around 100 employees back in 2021 when its partnership with Sony was made public in June 2021, but it was unclear how or even if the number has changed since it began working on a brand new original IP with PlayStation. Said to have already been in development for a year at the time. Neither studio or Division have formally commented on the layoffs, and the studio itself has not posted to its Twitter account since last September, when former Call of Duty director and Treyarch co-head Jason Blunder left Division Games after founding the studio with fellow Call of Duty alum David Anthony. Blunder's departure from Division Games, which comes even before the studio's first title has been officially revealed, was announced via a statement. The studio did not elaborate further on his leaving, only saying it was appreciated the contributions Jason has made and wish him all the best in his future endeavors. So clearly there's some difficulty over there. I'm not too sure what difficulties they speak of, but then there's also this rumored. Now this one I'm going to add an addendum to. I'm going to add this addendum to myself because this is rumored. There has been no other verified sources from any other news outlet at all, and there has only been one source, and it specifically went to InsideGaming.com, and everybody else has just been referring to this article. It has been claimed that Sony has cancelled an unannounced sci-fi shooter from Final Strike Games that was in development for 3 years. The claims come from a Twitter user at Bogorad222, who provided Insider Gaming with evidence of the claims from an ex-developer at the studio under the condition that the source remains anonymous. It was said that the game was 2 years away from its release, with the intention being to release the game on the PlayStation 5 and PC. According to the screenshots provided, Final Strike Games had a 40% reduction in headcount because of the cancelled project. Final Strike Games was founded in 2016 and released Rocket Arena, which was published by Electronic Arts in June 2021. The developer began live service support for Epic Games on the titles like Fortnite. According to the company's website, the developer was working on an unannounced new IP AAA PvP shooter for PC and console. It is unclear if this is the cancelled project or not that has been discussed. As for what Sony has lined up in the future, it remains to be seen, as rumors suggest that this text is awful. That the next big PlayStation showcase is scheduled to take place at the end of May, at the end of the month. According to journalist Jeff Grubb, the showcase will set up Phase 2 of the PlayStation 5. Insider Gaming sources have suggested that it is likely to include the announcement of a new PlayStation 5 and other hardware. That's the first time I'm hearing about that idea. Yes.
PlayStation 5 Pro?
Yeah, it's the first time.
Or the second one with the removable media drive that they've been talking about. For
No. But new PlayStation 5 and other hardware. The other hardware, I don't know where they get. I've not heard about that one. But the Pro I've heard, but I still think we're like a year off of that at least.
The other hardware is the detachable disk drive.
No.
Then that would just be another PlayStation. But either way, getting back on topic, it seems if these reports are to be accurate, one of them is accurate. Like Pixel Opus, there's no denying that happened. Like there's variable sources that have said that. The problem is,
that's official.
that one's official. The Division games, we don't know what caused these layoffs because even Eurogamer, which is where the article is from, like you can see from the article that was from 2000 from just what date are we on? Like this article was just from like 2 days ago. Like I don't think there's no update to this article or anything explaining like why these layoffs happened. Oh, Devasion. Thank you.
I thought
Deviation.
Deviation is the name.
Sorry,
didn't
I'm
wanna
awful.
interrupt you,
Listen,
yeah.
I'm off. I'll admit, sometimes with words like that just kind of jumble together. It's not this like serious laziness.
Mhm.
But like, so that one, like, I don't know if there's not been any official word on why the layoffs happened. Just that there's been a difficult situation. Like, was this because Sony pulled funding because they don't own them? It's just a partnership. But did Sony pull funding from a game that they were working on? Did they hit financial troubles? Like, I don't think there's any.
Can I say something?
No, you can't. I'm still giving my thoughts. So there's been nothing on this, like in its entirety, to kind of give like any credence that this it's a problem for Sony, absolutely, because this is a studio that you're working with that's just suddenly lost 90 people, and apparently just 2 years ago they had 100 people. So what is there like 30 people left working there? Like how many people are still working there now? So but if it's directly involving Sony, we don't know. But we know that this could definitely impact Sony because they are working with this studio. The cancelled game, honestly, I'm not convinced on this until I get more sources on this, because one dude on Twitter providing a website with just some evidence, which in my opinion should have been in quotation marks. Like that to me, I'm not 100% shitting on that, but I feel like this is something that needs a lot more evidence, and they don't even show the evidence either. Like, we all saw the article, like they don't show the evidence, and there's not been any other sources coming out from what I've seen from my research to fully verify this. Now, there could be more sources coming out in the future, but honestly, I take this one with a silo of salt. But also, it wouldn't come as a surprise because a lot of games get cancelled. We just don't know about them. Like this, we've talked about that before, about games being cancelled, and we don't hear about them. If any, the only argument that could be made is the time is rather auspicious, given the ABK deal getting another green light to start the race. All right, Omar, you can go first. What are your thoughts?
Okay, so about Deviation or the Venture game, a few information. So from what I've heard, which is from the developer, one, in moments like this, when stuff like this happens, mean one of the two things happen: either the project is rebooted or cancelled. So that's why you're gonna see a lot of layoffs. When it comes to the studio itself, I believe they opened another studio or they bought another studio, and so they were expecting growth, and then this situation happened. When it comes to Pixel Opus, I'm disappointed, but so far I know Concrete Genie didn't do that well. And the previous game, I've never heard of it until one person on Twitter mentioned it, and I looked it up. And real talk, I'm surprised that it's them and not Media Molecule getting shut down, because they are next on the shopping block. I would absolutely not be surprised if Media Molecule gets shut down. And one thing is sadly a reality: studios get shut down all the time. It doesn't matter what generation we are in. I saw one, a chart of how many PlayStation studios they shut down. Like, it's insane. Even in great even in Amazing Generation, and they still shut down studios. Because at some point, if you're not making IPs, if you're not doing anything, and yeah, they're gonna cut you off. Sadly, that's a sad reality. About again, the cancellation of that game. Look, I believe it for the sole reason that, especially with with what we're seeing now with in the industry releasing games unfinished, the last thing PlayStation wants is to release an unfinished game. This is why we heard either a rumor, I'm not sure if it's a rumor or not, but we covered it. How they went with Disney to the KOTOR developers and they're like, yeah, scrap this, either scrap this or start over, or we're not happy with what you're delivering to us. So, and then KOTOR was delayed indefinitely.
Not just delayed indefinitely, it got moved over to Saber Interactive.
Yeah. So clearly, PlayStation is strict when it comes to quality of control. And in my opinion, that's how it should be. Kind of like Nintendo. With how Metroid Prime, apparently the rumor, that's the same person that said about the Venture game project either being cancelled or delayed. He said the rumor is Metroid Prime is delayed, is rebooted 4 times. But that's the thing though. So many stuff happened behind the scenes that we don't know anything about it. And that is in every company. It's a sad reality. The only reason we heard about some certain things because it's very rare for a game to be announced and then cancelled. Then become big thing. That's about it.
All right, fair enough. Pharaoh, I want your thoughts on this next.
I mean, it does suck to see Pixel Opus go. As people mentioned, they made Contra Genie, which was a very good game. It didn't sell well. And I think, that's just kind of where you see the philosophical differences between the new leadership going from Sean Layden to Jim Ryan. Sean Layden will be more willing to invest and nurture that studio because they made a good game. Versus Jim Ryan, you're not selling, you got to go. So I think that's kind of what we're seeing there. As far as canceled IP, I mean, like we said, it happens every day. It is unfortunate on the PlayStation side because we don't know what's coming. We don't know what's coming. We haven't seen anything from PlayStation in quite a while. All we know is that Spider-Man 2 and eventually Wolverine.
Yes.
Is there anything else?
Wait a minute.
First party Sony that we actually know about. Factions game.
The only thing that we know of
Are you
is
going to
Stellar
count
Blade.
games that PlayStation's going to publish or only first party?
Well, I mean, if they're publishing
party.
it at that point, it's
First party.
I mean, if
Well,
anything,
then Rise of the Ronin.
Then there is The Last Ronin and Stellar Blade. Both are published by PlayStation.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm saying
like,
first party.
See,
okay, so
I'm not counting third party deals.
Okay, so
That's
the
not
reason.
third party.
No,
That's
let me.
literally second
It
party.
is. It's a third party making the game for them. It's a third party deal.
Let me give a reason why I do actually kind of count third party games in some sense because it's kind of like, actually, you know what, I got a good perfect example of that. It's the whole Demon Souls thing, because like Sony have shown that they'll make publishers make the game, but like they own that IP, like they own it. Bloodborne, Demon Souls.
I'm saying that they don't own IP, and I'm not saying that they don't get credit for identifying a good game and securing the
and
rights
then it's
to
exclusive.
But I'm just saying it's not coming from them. We don't know what's coming from them. We know
Okay,
deals that
well,
they've secured.
I can respect that argument. I disagree
Yeah.
because of the specific relationship that Team Ninja has through the Neo series. So this game, Rise of the Ronin, is built on the engine that they've been working with Sony with, obviously only releasing on PlayStation and PC since
Yeah.
2017. So it's not like a one-off deal. This has like been a long-term type of thing. I understand you're not going to count
I'm
that,
not
but I
I'm not
think
I'm not
you would.
arguing any of that. I'm just
Okay.
saying they're not making it.
Okay.
They're paying someone else to make it. We don't know what's coming from them in house. We know what
okay,
they've
well, if we're
done
talking in-house,
externally.
then just Wolverine,
Yeah,
Spider-Man 2, and Factions.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. We don't know what's coming from an actual Sony studio. That's all I'm saying. I'm not knocking Rise of the Ronin or saying that Sony doesn't deserve credit or anything like that. I'm just saying we don't know what's coming from them. Specifically. It's been pretty quiet over there. So I mean, the only thing that we know only thing we know about in-house Sony right now is that there is a strong push for live service games. Other than that, we don't know much.
I thought the live
we know-
service intro was dying.
Yeah, but they've committed to making like 10 to 15 of them. So unless they've shifted that focus,
Yeah, they are.
unless that focus has shifted,
Right.
we haven't heard we haven't heard anything. But I mean, with the amount of studios that they have, you would think at least a third of them are making live service games if they're planning on making 10 to 15 of them this generation specifically. So
What
you would think
to
over a third
say?
of
Hold
them.
on. Let's keep the train going. Pharaoh, you done with your point?
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, it's just that was my point.
All right.
Yes.
Nappy, your thoughts?
Yeah. So my thoughts on this is it's kind of really unfortunate, like, just to hear like companies shut down, and honestly, we don't know what the reason is. I do know that like this kind of outside of gaming and pay attention to like stocks and shares and stuff. It seems like the pandemic era is like officially over, and a lot of companies have been laying off and downsizing to compensate for the lack of services and entertainment stuff that people have been going through that began throughout the pandemic, because they no longer have that increase of people. Everyone's going outside now. I kind of think that kind of had played an effect with like realizing that games are not, like, people are not going to be playing video games as much as they used to now that the pandemic's over. Everyone that has like cabin fever like 3.0, people want to go outside and do other things and sit in front of a screen all day, play games. And I think it shows like in sales of games, except for Tears of the Kingdom. That's an exception, an anomaly. Got a call following. But yeah, me personally, I think it's a little bit more than just like within the gaming studio. I think it's something to do with all the stuff that's going on outside of gaming with the economy as a whole. That's just my personal belief.
All right, fair enough. Kofi.
Definitely a shot in the gut for Pixel Opus, and the reason why I think that one kind of sunk in with me, the story behind Pixel Opus I always found very interesting. The major leadership for Pixel Opus was, I believe it was I'm forgetting the name of the school, but it was an Ivy League team of graduates that had performed well enough that leadership, like in a role that Shuhei Yoshida would have been in at the time, decided to bring them on and make their own studio, and that was basically what Entwined turned into. And then even when Entwined was shown, they were given another chance, and that became Concrete Genie. That team even went on to work with XDev to create a VR DLC expansion for Concrete Genie. And I was always just deeply in love with that game. I loved the exploration. I ended up getting the platinum. There's a switch up at the end of the game with traversal, and it really turns action packed. So I just felt like this type of growth is what always made me excited about PlayStation. And when they had announced that they were working on or working with Unreal 5 engine tools and working with the animation studio, I think at Disney, or was it maybe with another studio? I'm forgetting. All of that made me excited, though. I'm like, hey, this is great. And my biggest hope is that that talent that they groomed over there is somehow used somewhere else in the company. Every studio is working on something. I mean, Pharaoh has a strong point. There's been no showcase, so we really just we know all these studios are still existing. We know the long-standing ones like Epiphany or Santa Monica are still standing around. We just don't know what the new IP is, and that one hurts a lot. Deviation, and I know there was some bad news somewhere else. I forget. Um,
The cancel game final
the
something.
sci-fi one, right? The
Yeah, the
FPS.
sci-fi game.
Right. Pharaoh's totally right. I mean, these games get canceled left and right. It's unfortunate that Deviation was publicly announced and kind of given some mind space to fans or people who just want to know about the industry, people who want to get jobs. We're thinking about it from that perspective as well. That's disappointing that they somehow lost 90 employees. I doubt that they were just all given jobs elsewhere. I think most of them probably are not working at something related to PlayStation and game development. I'm just gonna get maybe that's a wrong guess. Though. I don't want to put bad thoughts up, but that's how I feel. Um, so that one I feel less tied to because we don't know a lot about their work culture. Was that something that was going to be really successful? Was that something that was healthy and could release two games and have those games different and show some sort of advancement in what product they were making? Um, I don't, and then just to touch on what Omar was saying, the reason why Media Molecule, this is me putting my tinfoil hat on. Well, I'll say this: this is me not with my tinfoil hat, and then I'll put my tinfoil hat guess with my tinfoil hat off. The reason why I don't think Media Molecule is closed is because they won a BAFTA award. And even though BAFTA doesn't really matter to me, or maybe to you, Omar, or anybody on this panel, it's a kind of a big deal out in Europe that your game artistically could get that type of award. So that type of like accolade is something that is celebrated. Now I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat on. The one thing I've noticed with Jim Ryan leadership is he loves games that are based out of any area in Europe, and he has almost never done anything negative with any studio in that region because he's based in that region, right? The last time we had leadership, it was more either Japan or in the Americas, right? Either Sean Layden or we had people like Shuhei Yoshida, who he knows English very well, so he knew the cultures. Um, so now it's Jim Ryan, now it's Europe, and like the Liverpool studio got brought back in, right? As I forget, the Studio Liverpool is now back as Fire Sprite. Yeah. So the leadership from Liverpool came back as Fire Sprite. Media Molecule is still around, even though they've done nothing. They've been hiring people. And that's just my random theory that he just loves European based teams and that he's trying to give bolster to them while Japan was boosted back in the day. And, we have all these great US based studios. Moving on. Yeah, so the sci-fi shooter again, it's something that we know that if it's not up to snuff, if it's not up, to standard, they're gonna probably take some of those devs and transfer them somewhere else. For example, when God of War was being made, the first one, I'm sure you guys remember on the Raising Kratos documentary, there was another whole IP that had been canceled, and a whole bunch of devs just showed up at Santa Monica Studio like, hey, like their game just got dumped. We're just sending them to you, and they're going to help you wherever you want. And Corey
The
Barlow.
sci-fi game, right?
No, this is before. This is that game is still being made, right? The one you're talking about, the sci-fi game. I'm talking
Maybe
about.
that being revived by Corey, but beforehand they had the asset ready and everything ready, and it got cancelled, right?
Oh, I
That's how
didn't
far I
know.
remember.
Maybe
You
you're right.
sent-
Maybe you're right. All I know is this is like the game came out in 2018. I'm sorry, I'm mixing up 08 for 2018. So it came out in 2018, the original remake or the original reimagining of the series, but the development was what 2017, 2016. I just know at some point some IP died, and they got a whole bunch of devs that were sitting around for like 3 months because they weren't at that stage where they needed that talent, as good as they might have been. So it happens all the time. IPs take forever, and I just hope that um, we continue to see things churn over because things like Zipper Interactive, that hurts me. You were talking about Omar was talking about studios shutting down. SOCOM disappearing, that hurt a lot. I used to love that. And of
No.
course, what's the
SOCOM,
Drive Club?
SOCOM 2.
Yeah, SOCOM was great, and the team that made MotorStorm, I'm forgetting their name right now. They made Drive Club and but MotorStorm 2 was like my baby, and they shut down right at the beginning of the PS4 gen.
So they did shut down studios during the PlayStation 4 generation, right?
Right at the
Yes, they
beginning, they
did.
shut down the developer of MotorStorm, who made Drive Club.
Mhm.
I can't remember their name. Well, that is the one UK based one, but that wasn't under Jim Ryan. That was under
So
Sean Layden.
PlayStation, when the studio doesn't do well, they just shut them down.
Can we let Kofi get his point
Yeah.
out?
Yeah.
Right.
But yes, usually that is the truth. They do get shut down when they don't do well, and yeah, I think that was all of my thoughts. I hope that Sony remains aggressive because yeah, without all the support that they get from all the regions, their identity will change drastically, and I'm very curious how that will be accepted. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are my
By the way,
thoughts.
to answer your question, to answer your nagging question in your head right now, because I know it's up there. It was Evolution Studios that got
Yes,
shut down.
Evolution.
And they didn't
Thank
get
you.
they didn't get shut. I mean, it depends on your idea of the beginning. But it actually went defunct in 2016 when the PlayStation 4 came out in 2013.
Oh, was that late?
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Okay, thank you.
No problem. Jube, thoughts?
Sucks if that is the case. I just find it cute that, when projects are being rebooted and or canceled or anything, it's cool on one side and the other side gets hella trash for it. I think it just needs to be consistent across the board. Like, nobody wants to see things like this happen. Nobody wants to see projects canceled and people, potentially lose their jobs because of that, or things just don't go as planned. Um, I just for the sake of time, I honestly hope that if that is the case, whoever's affected can bounce back and get on somewhere else and keep using their talents. And maybe the industry just needs better project managers and creative directors, because like, I mean, that's where all this shit starts. You know what I mean? Like, if you got to reboot your project manager failed you from jump. But yeah, hopefully we just see an improvement in that and in projects overall, so we don't got to keep hearing about shitty news as far as, oh, the studio has to cut staff because they're going in a different direction, or this promising thing gets scrapped because it's either not meeting deadlines or it's not coming out and gelling how they'd like to. So, yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet.
Fair enough. Zero, you're the last one. Make it count.
I mean, I think it's unfortunate, really, and I admittedly I can't say, particularly for the Pixel Opus team, I can't say I've played any of their games. I played a little bit of Concrete Genie. It didn't really gel with me, so it really wasn't my cup of tea. I'm a little disappointed I didn't play Entwine because I was looking it up what everybody's talking, and I love a rhythm game, so I'll probably try to look this up and see if I can play it because this one looks interesting. But it does suck that, and I think Kofi said it. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like these folks are sort of slotted into other projects. They were just unfortunately let go, which is, for whatever reason it could be sort of a rise, the end of the pandemic, just not needed, a project that dies and moves on. Because I imagine the video game industry isn't too far away from the film industry, where it's like there's a bunch of products that just never see the light of day, or that folks move over into doing something else. My thoughts is that, particularly for the other side, for the other folks, if they were working on I guess a space shooter, either you get moved over to work on whatever Bungie's doing, or you get let go because Bungie has been making space shooters for the last 20 years. So I'm just not necessarily sure if they were needed if you've got arguably the best people to make a space shooter on your team already. So again, hopefully everybody sort of lands on their feet, or at least is able to survive long enough to find new employment. Because the unfortunate truth about that industry is that sometimes it can be very volatile, and that you have a job one day and then you won't, and that is a rough space to be in, to not know when your next job is coming. uh I don't know. I don't necessarily want to point any fingers at anyone. Jube brings up a good point about sort of great project management, but I don't know if that's always the case, or if it's just something that, like, it just didn't work out, like, or somebody up top was just like, no, I don't really like this, or maybe there's a rumor that a competitor is going to get to something before we do. Really hard to say. Have no clue. In a perfect world, these guys will go off and make their own game and then become a next new indie studio that people want to buy, and hopefully they don't. But yeah, it does suck. I certainly hope everybody is okay. And even though I never really gelled with their games, Pixel Opus did have an opportunity to make something else, and they've made two different games from each other that seem pretty unique. It would have been cool to see what else they would have done outside of Concrete Genie and Entwined.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, an addendum that should be added to anybody listening to this after the fact or in the future. Obviously, the PlayStation Showcase hasn't happened, so we don't know outside of those 3 games what PlayStation has in store. For all we know, that number could jump from 3 things we know that they're doing in-house to like fucking 15 for all we fucking know. I'm just ballparking a goddamn number. So
We know
save
they
that point.
have projects around 20 or something like that. 10 of them are live service.
Yeah. Well, we don't know. We don't know because the showcase hasn't happened. That's if it does happen this month. All right. Well, I think that comfortably gets us through all of the topics. So let's get us to the outro. Kofi, you want to start us?
Absolutely. You guys can always catch me at creative_Kofi on Twitter, preparing for hopefully a very exciting summer of import gaming. I've got one game from Furyu that is out in Japan in July, and then out in the fall, it is an action RPG called Cry Machina. Definitely give it a look on YouTube. I think it's a very unique take on a post apocalyptic world where survivors are now part of like some sort of like android centralized brain, and they're trying to figure out how to how do you say bring back humanity. That is a very unique game, and the other game I'm importing is a remake of the original Atelier games called Atelier Mary. The original came out, I think, on PlayStation 1 in 97, and the remake looks really great. So yeah, getting look forward for that in July. Of course, we've got Final Fantasy before that, but catch me on there tweeting about that and Star Ocean.
Play Star Ocean too. All right, Nappy, you're next.
Okay, guys, if you guys want to find me, you guys can find me here on YouTube. Just type in Nappy Senshi in that search bar, and you'll see my face pop up. I am going to finish these controller reviews that I promised last week because I have a 3-day weekend coming up. So, and no event, so I have plenty of time to get this review up and running. You also can find me on Twitter at Nappy Senshi. I usually just post random things, look at different controllers. I am looking at Asus's new LED or OLED screen controller now that you can now pre-order it. So I'm curious because I already got a controller with the LED screen, so I want to know which controller is better for PC. Stay tuned to find out. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.
Asus one is wireless. At first, it was announced as wired, right?
It is wireless. This one's also wireless as well, and this one works for PC and Nintendo Switch, and has to have the same haptic feedback that the DualSense controller has.
Because I remember when they first announced that Asus, it was either only wireless for PC, or it was wired.
It was supposed to be wireless for PC and Xbox, so it looks like it's a partner. It's like a little partnership.
Yeah, I think now it is. I think when they first announced it wasn't.
I think I gotta double check that because of if Xbox allow Asus to make the controller wireless for the consoles, that's actually a big deal. because that's the one thing Microsoft does not let third-party companies do is make their controllers wireless for their consoles.
Yeah, I looked it up myself yesterday because I was looking at pre-ordering it. It is wireless for the Xbox, which is pretty cool.
That is rare.
Yeah.
So
I think it's part of
It
that
might be
East
because it's
agreement.
a big company. Because Asus is a big company, it would make.
And they just had that partnership with the handhelds, so that probably played a factor in it too.
Yeah, so but so I'm definitely gonna get that controller, and I can compare 2 LED screen controllers now. Like just like I got 2 module controllers I'm gonna be comparing soon. So
Alright. Omar, where can people find you?
Shout out to everyone that came through. Hit that like button. Shout out to panel members. People can find me in Carbon Hub on Twitter and Game Player every Saturday 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See you next week.
Alright. Kofi, where can people find you? Wait, did I do Kofi already? Yeah, I did. Fuck.
Yeah, you did.
Started off with
Guys,
Kofi.
I'm losing my mind. Alright, Pharaoh.
Jube or Pharaoh.
I already said mine, I thought. Oh, well, you can find me anywhere you like to watch streamers at the Land of Pharaoh, and you can find me on Twitter at Pharaoh Bizarre.
Alright, Jube.
Jube X Sensei on gaming platforms, Jube Sensei everywhere else, Jube Jones on music platforms. If you haven't seen Super Mario Brothers movie, go ahead and check that out. I checked it out this weekend, had a blast, fantastic.
What do you think about the song Peaches?
Man, that's been on repeat. So that song's hard. Jack Black is a national treasure. Don't ever.
Thank you.
Don't ever.
I'm so glad someone else finally acknowledges that man is a national treasure.
The man is good. The man is good. Sorry, Mr. is good.
Is Jack Black British?
No.
No. Okay, so he doesn't have to go to the bottom. He doesn't have to go to the bottom of the sea.
Tenacious D, amazing band.
Yes, Tenacious D is an amazing band.
I was just trying to make sure I was just trying to make sure we didn't have to lose them with the UK.
Fuck off.
Your Jube's world.
There's a place on the good ship for that man.
Oh, is he taking my spot now?
Maybe. Now we'll see. Thank you for coming through in the chat. Drink your water, stay safe, and play some games.
All right, yes. You can find me, Dante Crisis, at Dante Crisis on Instagram and Twitter, the Dante Crisis on Facebook, as well as Dante Crisis on YouTube, where I do weekday Let's Plays every 2 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. GMT time. And you can also find me on Twitch, where I stream at 4 p.m. GMT time. I play a variety of games, all of them good, many of them punishing. Zero, where can people find you? But more importantly, where can people find us?
Well, guys, as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. And of course, you can find me 0x386 or 0.exe pretty much anywhere. Twitter, Facebook, PlayStation, Switch, maybe one day Xbox, we'll see. But more importantly, please, you can go find us, Vitamin G Podcast, pretty much everywhere all of your favorite podcasts are, and hopefully we are one of them. Spotify, Google Play, YouTube Music, all of those. Please give us a like, please give us a comment, thumbs up, whatever one platform does, whatever it needs to do. But we appreciate you guys for listening to us and always hanging out with us, the panel members, and the folks who sort of regularly come every night or every Monday night to sort of hang with us. We absolutely appreciate it, because as I always said, guys, you could be doing anything else, but you decided to listen to us, and so of course we will always appreciate that. We look forward to hearing from y'all again, look forward to chatting, talking about games, and not yelling at each other. I think we deserve a bit of a round of applause for that. We did a pretty good job. We didn't lose it. We kept it together. That's not usually how we do it. So we pat ourselves on the back for us. Good for us. Look at us.
I wonder who's responsible for that. Huh.
Personally, I've already figured it out. It's very, very clear. It's nappy.
Yeah.
Like his introduction to being here as part of this podcast, sort of adding to it. It's really just changed up our whole energy and flow about everything. It just feels better, it's smoother, it's much more comfortable. You know, I don't know if it's like because he's from America. You know, I can't really speak to it. You know, it just is what it is. That's how things happen sometimes.
All right, yeah. So
but
remember, you can keep it gaming. You can find us on all those platforms. We out of here. Peace.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets.
On the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Discussing that heat in the street, hey, we got just what you need on Vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what
All
you need.
alone.
Vitamin J. Ay. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. street, and we got just what you need on vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G. Got what you need. Vitamin G. Got
All
what you need.
alone.
Vitamin G. Ay. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beasts, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.